Chapter 1432, Collect. Chapter 1432, Collect. Ling Mei understood it now. However, it was too bad as it was too late. Boom. Billions of light beams bloomed like the most beautiful firework performance in front of Ling Mei's eyes. A rainbow band shot over like a sharp ribbon, but it was actually a life-taking lance that stabbed the rapid water saber. The water saber vanished immediately. Ling Mei was hit hard. She was held still before the dazzling light covered her entirely. Madam, Madam, Madam Ling Mei. The black-armored guards of the mysterious Sky Clan shrieked. They quit attacking Audrey, turning around and plunging. But it was too late. It will be much better if you know your lot, right? For my whole life, I hated women who were too smart. I loathe women who always want to stir up a storm, especially the beautiful ones, said the God Lord. The 5 bright stars twirled in the sky full of light. They were like lightning striking the souls that lingered in the mundane world. All pounded on Ling Mei. Ling Mei's body had so many cracks and cut, making her bleed. Most of her wounds were terrifyingly deep to the bones. Thud. Her body fell on the ground and rolled to the rock pile. Her blood dyed the rocks while her bright, witty eyes dimmed out. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The black-armored guards of the mysterious Sky Clan landed by her, protecting her in case the God Lord wanted to attack more furiously. The God Lord didn't chase after her. He clasped his hand behind his back and wore a haughty, cold face. If Shi Yin wants to kill you, he will kill you. I won't do his chores for him. If I kill you for him, he won't appreciate me. Well, I'm his enemy, anyway. He lifted his head to look at Batum, sneering and yelling. Get down here. The 5 jets of light shot from his fingertips, crossing the sky and covering Batum. The God Lord pulled. Batum was shaken immediately. His blasting storm tore and exploded. Batum's round body fell as he couldn't endure that. The mysterious Sky Clan guards waited and protected Ling Mei. They didn't dare to move and attack the God Lord. Meiji wasn't far from them, her charming face as pale as white paper. She stopped bleeding and still had some energy. However, her internal wounds were serious. The reluctant feeling she had when her life was draining away scared her and made her restless. Audrey relaxed when she saw the God Lord take action. He had attacked Ling Mei. Standing by Shi Yin, he pulled Batum down. Audrey knew that this battle would soon come to an end. I won't let you get it. You damn pagans. Gon Fu of the Devouring Clan was aging fast, her vitality draining rapidly. The blood pond underneath bubbled and sizzled. Her aura surged grumblingly like a burning flame. Each clone of Ming Hao paled in fright. Seeing Gon Fu want to destroy everybody altogether, Ming Hao hesitated for a few seconds. Then, he gathered all of his clones. Ming Hao now had only one clone. He rose his hand and touched the void. A small world emerged that turned complicated. He stopped Teleka, Farlow, and Yerbo in that world and prevented them from making other moves. He backed off and said, I don't want to die with you. If you want, you can die alone. You're scared. I know you're scared. Gon Fu screamed crazily and glided through Ming Hao to reach Shi Yin. Uncle! Audrey screamed hoarsely. Ming Hao was indifferent as if he didn't hear her calling. He didn't help Shi Yin stop Gon Fu's last attack. The God Lord looked at the sky and slashed. The world of light bloomed. Batum bounced upside down like a rubber ball. He sneered and didn't think much about Gon Fu's strike. Gon Fu brought her lifeblood that had boosted her corrosion power Upanishad and aimed at Shi Yin's 2 souls. Ming Hao and the God Lord just watched. They didn't interfere, and they looked somehow joking. Ling Mei recovered slightly. Because Gon Fu had escaped the siege, she had risen the others' spirits. However, seeing Ming Hao's and the God Lord's faces, she felt so chilled. She knew that it wouldn't be nice at the end. The absolute beginning symbols on the Power Upanishad symbol tower had reached the last level. So many symbols were now congregating at the last symbol. After that, the absolute beginning original symbol was going to form. Gon Fu used her corrosion power Upanishad to try to destroy everything with her. The God Lord had stepped aside and Ming Hao had backed off. Eventually, She reached Shi Yan's soul altar and tried to attack his two souls. Shi Yan's host soul gave a cunning, strange face as it didn't duck. The jet black hole, like a bottomless abyss, flew out of the tier of power Upanishads and headed to Ganfu. The poisonous green water was made of her lifeblood, and the erosive energy poured into the black hole. Shi Yan's souls were intact. The black hole was revolving like a greedy mouth that would never be satisfied. Ganfu was stunned. Seconds later, her shriveled body cracked like a dry log of wood. Her body made cracked noises and shattered. Her soul altar shook. As her host soul could feel the desperate fear, she wanted to run away as fast as possible. The hovering black hole sucked her soul altar while pieces of her shattering body fell like chips of wood. There was no blood left. It seems that the fellows of the Devouring Clan don't know the real power of the Devouring Power Upanishad. They don't know that the Devouring Power Upanishad is the nemesis of the 8 great, evil power Upanishads. It looks like they don't know a thing about this power. It seems like they've lost it for a really long time. Minghao looked dark and harsh as he ridiculed them. Well, she thought she was great with her corrosion power Upanishad. She didn't know that the rising tide attacks of the 8 power Upanishads could be easily dissolved. It's a waste that she will be killed at the peak of a mortal realm. The God Lord continued, clearly, the warriors from the sea domain of Nihility don't have a profound knowledge of the devouring power Upanishad. The warriors with the 8 great, evil power Upanishads dare to die together with the warrior who has the devouring power Upanishad. They're ignorant, anyway. In fact, those warriors of the Devouring Clan didn't understand the full extent of the Devouring Power Upanishad. It was because they had lost the said power for a long time. It had been so long that they had forgotten that the Devouring Power Upanishad was the root of the Devouring Clan. It was the most powerful power Upanishad that only the chief of the clan could cultivate. Today, Ganfu's death was going to remind the Devouring Clan and the creatures in the sea domain of Nihility that the Devouring Power Upanishad was the true nemesis of the 8 evil power Upanishads. Ganfu was dead. Her soul was swallowed. Batum collapsed. The Godlord and Minghao's deeds had shut him down. I give up, Batum shouted and backed off, trying his best to run away. The Godlord didn't want to look at him. He just let the ugly old man run away, his eyes filled with disgust. Minghao didn't stop him, either. While his mind flickered, his power Upanishad changed. His soul body now had countless fine space slits. Telika, Yerberg, and Farlow looked at those fine cracks and felt insecure. Then, their bodies had so many cracks. Their blood splashed and their bones broke. Space Power Upanishad. An expert cultivating space power Upanishad at 3rd sky of Immortal Realm. Who is this monster? Telika, Yerberg, and Farlow screamed. They didn't dare to linger and ran away as Batum had just done. The black guards of the mysterious Sky Clan were awakened when they saw Batum run away. They supported Ling Mei and left instantly. Both the Godlord and Minghao didn't stop them. They looked at those people running away, their faces calm and natural. Uncle, why didn't you stop them? Why did you let them escape? Asked Audrey. Underneath, Meiji's breathing was weakening. She was leaning against a rock. Blood oozed from the corner of her mouth to her white neck. Her eyes gradually lost focus. She blankly looked at the sky. Escape? Minghao shook his head. They can't. Brian and I have been trapped here for dozens of years. We've tried all the methods, but we haven't gotten out of this place yet. How could they leave easily? It's easy to get in, but it's not simple to get out. Then why didn't you kill them? You're not afraid of them spreading information? Audrey was surprised. No one could send messages out of here. Otherwise, when that kid sent a message, we would have taken action. This area is a blocked space. I'm at 3rd sky of Immortal Realm cultivating space power, Upanishad, but I couldn't tear a small space slit. What can they do? Minghao felt funny. So I just did something unnecessary, snorted Audrey. No. Didn't you seize the chance to assault the one who believes she's infallible? Smiled Minghao. Audrey pulled a long face. The little girl down there. How is she related to Shi Yan? Her condition isn't right. Her vitality is draining. She came here with wounds. Then, she got hurt further. Her root is shaken. If we don't do anything, it will be fatal, Ming Hao observed Meiji and frowned. I don't know their relationship, Audrey shook her head. He's almost done, the God Lord intervened. He soared up into the sky, hovering by Ming Hao and Audrey. He didn't bat an eye at Meiji. In his mind, Meiji wasn't important. Her life didn't matter to him. Ming Hao turned to Shi Yin with his bright and sharp eyes. He didn't look at Meiji anymore. Under Shi Yan's sea of consciousness, all the absolute beginning symbols on the Power Upanishad symbol tower had merged into one absolute beginning original symbol. That absolute beginning original symbol had bright seven-colored halos. It was like the sun at dawn slowly rising to the top of the tower. Eventually, it merged into Shi Yan's life crystal ball. Inside the life ball, the absolute beginning original symbol settled and released the enormous vitality. At this moment, the life energy magnetic field on Shi Yan's body was so abundant that Ming Hao and Godlord had to envy him. They were stunned too. After the absolute beginning original symbol had left the Power Upanishad symbol tower, the imposing, mountain-like tower began to shrink. The Godlord's eyes rolled as he spoke all of a sudden. Your bloodthirsty force got the benefit from the absolute beginning original symbol. I will take the Power Upanishad symbol tower. You had conserved your power and let me fight against two experts at my realm. You planned to vie for the Power Upanishad symbol tower, didn't you? Ming Hao talked coldly. Ming Hao, you want to take them all? Brian grimaced. While they were quarreling, Shi Yan's soul altar suddenly shrank and returned to his body like a projection. Then, Shi Yan opened his eyes and raised his hand. The shrinking Power Upanishad symbol tower fell into his hand and disappeared instantly. Chapter 1433, Surging Vitality. Chapter 1433, Surging Vitality. Shi Yan had seen the battles clearly. Ling Mei suddenly aimed at him. Telika struck a fatal attack. Meiji acted strangely. Opening his eyes, Shi Yan looked a little puzzled. He had stashed the Power Upanishad symbol tower in his incipient extent and frowned. The absolute beginning original symbol had fused with his Power Upanishad, and it had imparted him an enormous amount of information. At this moment, it was like billions of electric currents moving back and forth in his brains. The absolute beginning original symbol had triggered them and weaved through his veins, bones, blood, flesh, and even his soul. He used his soul consciousness to check. He found so many absolute beginning symbols flying out of the life crystal ball like fireflies, entering his body, meridians, internal organs, and brain. The fierce vitality surged in his body and made him a sea of life. The black hole on the tier of Power Upanishad still moved. It was digesting Ganfu's energy. Ganfu's corrosive energy, life energy, and soul altar sunk into the black hole, getting filtered and refined. At the same time, there were so many pictures that arose in Shi Yan's mind. They were Ganfu's experiences, her memories from birth, and her cultivating progress. The devouring Power Upanishad had unexpectedly extracted her memories while digesting her energy. Of course, Shi Yan wasn't interested in Ganfu's life experiences. He focused on the life ball where the absolute beginning original symbol was throbbing like a massive heart and releasing surging vitality. Then, he checked more carefully. His soul was shaken hard. An ultimate supernatural ability like a streak of life materialized and became part of his Power Upanishad. It was called Surging Vitality. Emerging together with the surging vitality was a warm air current. That warm air current came from the Power Upanishad symbol tower inside his incipient extent. At this moment, in Shi Yan's brilliant galaxy-like incipient extent, the Power Upanishad symbol tower was standing on a barren star. The warm air current shot out from the top of the tower and ran directly to Shi Yan's brain. To be exact, it went to Shi Yan's co-soul. A slurred memory that had been dusted for billions of years had become disordered sections of mysterious symbols. Shi Yan knew what they were. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't understand them. However, there was a vague connection between him and the Power Upanishad symbol tower. The power Upanishad symbol tower had connected to his soul and sent surging memories to a deep place in his soul. His co-soul had merged with desolate soul. It had a deep connection with the power Upanishad symbol tower. Those blurry memories seemed to wait for him to activate the absolute beginning creature's soul, which was the complete fusion of the heaven flames. That's how he could unlock those wisps of memory. You want to take the power Upanishad symbol tower too? Your greed is bottomless. The God Lord's voice arose, his face twisted in anger. Kid, you want to take all the benefits? Ming Hao knitted his brows. He was also interested in the power Upanishad symbol tower. He had been ready to combat with the God Lord to vie for it. He didn't expect that Shi Yin would take the tower into his incipient extent immediately as he woke up. It gave Ming Hao a knot in his mind. It's no use if you take the power Upanishad symbol tower. I can use it to break this area. The power Upanishad symbol tower is the key to unlock this place. Because I have the absolute beginning original symbol, only I can control it, said Shi Yin casually. Nonsense. The God Lord snorted and didn't buy it. Ming Hao also frowned, his countenances changing continuously. Shi Yin looked at the God Lord and then at Ming Hao with a grin. It's all right if you don't believe it. Let's try. It's simple. I'll give you the power Upanishad symbol tower, and you guys can see if you can explore it to get us out of here or not. Then, his eyes changed. The power Upanishad symbol tower flew out of his head and floated in front of Ming Hao and the God Lord. Shi Yin was calm, but he was laughing inwardly. At this moment, the power Upanishad symbol tower and his co-soul were connected. No matter how hard the God Lord and Ming Hao tried, they couldn't find anything from the tower. He didn't mind that the God Lord and Ming Hao were using their technique and the soul consciousness to connect to the power Upanishad symbol tower. He swayed and landed by Meiji. At this moment, Meiji's face was ashen, her graceful body gory. Her stomach was bleeding terribly. She lay on her side by a rock. Her eyes didn't have focus as her vitality was draining. Usually, when the body was hurt severely, the vitality slowly ran out. Once her vitality was gone, her body wasn't going to have a bit of energy left for her to function. Taking the parents of the little skeleton, for example. Because their vitality was drained, their bone bodies didn't have even a beam of light. If the White Bone clan hadn't cultivated the bone body, they would have decayed. When someone touched them, they would have turned into dust. If he let Meiji's vitality go away, her god power was going to vanish altogether. When she died, it was going to drag her life magnetic field together. The so-called life magnetic field was actually the soul magnetic field and the fountain of the host soul. When the life magnetic field was gone, it was death. Warriors never came back to life from that state. It would be the same to Shi Yin. When his vitality was drained, he would be dead, completely dead. Why? Shi Yin pondered for a few seconds. He asked in a soft voice, his mind complicated. He didn't consider Meiji a friend who he could trust. There was some knot between them. They had fought furiously, and he used to insult her really badly. He thought that Meiji must have loathed him. When Telika had attacked him and Ling Mei ambushed him, he thought that Meiji would stand on Ling Mei's side. He wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Anyway, the power Upanishad symbol tower was so important to her phantom clan. It was a temptation that she couldn't resist. For the tower, Ling Mei had ignored Tu Shiqi's reminder to resolutely kill him. How could Meiji be an exception? He had never imagined that Meiji would help him. Don't ask me. I don't know why, either. I just thought that, even if you have to be killed, I should be the one to kill you. I won't let the others kill you. Especially Ling Mei. Meiji said weakly, but she still sounded resolute. There was a flame of anger in her voice, and Shi Yin didn't know who had enraged her. Good. I'll wait for you to kill me, said Shi Yin after a while. So many absolute beginning symbols were like joyful creatures moving out of his hands and entering Meiji's soft body magically. Those absolute beginning symbols rolled and pumped thick vitality to nurture Meiji and raise her vitality. It was a supernatural ability that the absolute beginning original symbol had imprinted in his soul. Surging vitality. Magically, Meiji's skin glowed in health. Her pale face regained colors. The wounds in her body healed rapidly. A warm vitality shrouded her and healed all her wounds. Every muscle of hers was filled with energy, which shook her soul magnetic field continuously. Strange light ripples from her bright eyes on her glowing face, her full lips moisturized. She had regained her peerless glamour. Shortly after, Meiji stood upright as she was sinking in a warm sea of life. It felt so comfortable, her furrowed brows relaxed. At this moment, Shi Yin retracted his hand. The absolute beginning symbols in Meiji's body returned to his palm. Those swimming symbols then returned to the absolute beginning original symbol inside the life ball. I won't be thankful. All of the wounds I got are because of you. Meiji's eyes were complicated as she snorted. Shi Yin beamed brightly. I don't need you to be thankful. I hope you continue to hate me. I like women who hate me. Psychopath, Meiji hissed. Can't contact it. That kid must have done something. Suddenly, the Godlord and Ming Hao dispiritedly screamed. They all looked begrudging when they decided to give up their attempt on connecting to the Power Upanishad symbol tower. So many symbols and light energy outside the Power Upanishad symbol tower were retrieved. They fell like starlight on the Godlord and Ming Hao. They had tried many secret techniques they knew to try to find the key to connect to the tower. Eventually, they were disappointed. The Power Upanishad symbol tower was like a dead city. It didn't respond at all. They couldn't bring it to their hands or to the fantasy sky ring. Of course, they deemed that Shi Yin had done something cunning. It was true anyway. I told you, Shi Yin smiled, waving his hand. The flurry in his co-soul rippled like the sea water. It connected to the Power Upanishad symbol tower immediately. The Power Upanishad symbol tower that the Godlord and Ming Hao couldn't take was now dropping like a hat falling on Shi Yan's head. It disappeared into his nape. Deal with that barrier. Hurry up. We have to escape here as soon as possible. We've been trapped for a long time. I'm worried about the desolate territory, said Ming Hao. We don't need to hurry. When we open the restriction, some fish will seize the chance to run away, sneered Shi Yin. He turned to the direction where Batum and the others had left, stroking the corner of his mouth, his voice low. I'm like you guys. We don't know how precious the Power Upanishad symbol tower is, but the members of the 7 great clans in this sea domain of nihility know. If they know we have the Power Upanishad symbol tower, it will be a lot of trouble. He didn't say much. The Godlord and Ming Hao understood his idea, but it didn't mean they approved it. The Godlord snorted. What if they know? You keep the Power Upanishad symbol tower, not us. If they want, they will trouble you, won't they? Moreover, when you open this area, we will return to desolate territory at our fastest speed. What can they do to us? The members of those 7 great clans have been searching for our desolate territory for a long time. Ming Hong, lying on Audrey's shoulder, intervened. There is something you don't know. They are so greedy for a wounded absolute beginning creature. Shi Yan's correct. If they escape alive, for the Power Upanishad symbol tower, their seniors won't hesitate to pay any price to get it. They will chase after us. We will be killed before we can reach the territory entrance. What do you mean? Frowned the Godlord. Leave no one alive, Shi Yin said seriously. How about her? The Godlord gave a faint smile, looking at Meiji with the awkward countenance. She's not from our desolate territory. Are you going to kill her too? Do you need a hand? Meiji felt shivers send down her spine. She's my woman. Of course, we won't count her. I will manage my internal matters well. You don't need to care about it, Shi Yin said naturally. Meiji's charming face was blushing when she heard that. She looked a little loathing and uneasy. Chapter 1434. Invincible Might from the Sky. Chapter 1434. Invincible Might from the Sky. Boom, boom. The dark and grumbling thunder boomed on the light curtain and sparked brilliant lights everywhere. The light curtain didn't have a scratch. Teleka's face was dark and sinister, talking. What was that? On the other side, Batum was like a mad dog. His entire body was a straight sword thrusting into the light curtain above their heads. He had pounded on the curtain until his head bled. Farlow, Yerberg, and Ling Mei were hovering aside. The black guards of the mysterious Sky Clan looked at the sky, their faces stern. After they had left the area that had the Power Upanishad symbol tower, they understood each other well enough not to part. They gathered and tried to get out of this absolute, beginning vestige to return to the Sea of Annihilation. Ming Hao and the God Lord's intimidation had scared them. When they saw Shi Yan's Power Upanishad devour Fu, they finally collapsed. They finally noticed that with their power, it was impossible to rob the Power Upanishad symbol tower. Ling Mei and Batum were resolute warriors. Seeing that they couldn't change the situation, they immediately changed the plan. They understood that as long as they got rid of this light barrier and reported to their seniors in the clans, those real experts would come immediately. The 7 great clans knew about the legends of the Power Upanishad symbol tower. However, until now, no clan had ever had a complete tower. To vie for the Power Upanishad symbol tower, those territory ancestor realm experts weren't going to hesitate to pay any price. The Power Upanishad symbol tower could produce the absolute beginning original symbol that had the ultimate Power Upanishad, the supernatural power. From this aspect, the Power Upanishad symbol tower was even more precious than an absolute beginning divine weapon. As long as we escape this area and release the news, none of them can run away, said Ling Mei. The others nodded in agreement. Batum's god power surged. His body turned slightly transparent. He moved forward, his 2 hands creating a great storm, hitting the light curtain. The curtain light was still closed. Ling Mei and Farlo became serious. It's not good if we continue that way. If we consume more energy, once they chase us here, it'll be a lot of trouble, said Ling Mei. Do you have any suggestion? Farlo knitted her brows. Although we've assigned Batum to break the light curtain, we can't stay idle. I'm sure they will come after us. Ling Mei wore a cold face. I'm sure we will have a bloody battle soon. We should prepare from now on. Yeah, from this area, we're going to set up as many barriers, formations, and restrictions as we can. Taking a deep breath, she continued, if we can't avoid it, we must risk our life once. If we're well prepared, we can take the upper hand first. Farlo nodded. True, I support your idea. We should carry it out immediately. Batum, you try to deal with that light barrier. We're going to implement our plan now. Ling Mei lifted her head to notice Batum and then shouted, commanding her black guards, Telika, Yerberg, and Farlo. From where they were staying as the center, they set up and expanded many barriers. Halos, lightning walls, and lakes appeared in the massive ruins. Ling Mei, Farlo, and the others moved around, urging their powers and using so many secret treasures to set up traps. Dash! Over there! In the middle of the ruins, Ming Hao rose one hand and pointed in one direction. He said darkly, they're setting up defensive barriers and restrictions. It seems like they want to fight against us with their lives. Yeah, I think they've recognized that they can't get out and they can't avoid this bloody battle. That's why they decided to use all that they have to see if they can kill us. The God Lord looked indifferent, his face mocking. They aren't wrong and their deeds aren't ordinary. Unfortunately, they're too naive. Ming Hao and the God Lord had swaggered in this world for dozens of thousands of years. The blood that their hands bled was even more than the amount of water in the sea. They were real, great demons with absolute confidence and pride. For example, when the God Lord was at third sky of a mortal realm, he had fought against Bloodthirsty at the territory ancestor realm. Although Bloodthirsty had already been hurt before, his victory was still enough to prove his intimidation. Dozens of thousands of years ago, Ming Hao, the chief of Soul Control Force, had already had tens of thousands of clones. He had subdued and controlled the leaders of many star areas. He had single-handedly grown the Soul Control Force vigorously to resist the God Clan. Also, the God Clan had spent 10,000 years and couldn't touch his shadow. This expert was truly sharp-witted and cunning. Audrey floated on the massive brutal soul lotus throne. Her eyes were clear but cold. She curled the corners of her mouth as if she was angry. While her bright eyes moved around, she often checked Shi Yin and Meiji. She looked more intense as her discontent was swelling in her heart. Shi Yin and Meiji moved shoulder by shoulder. They were whispering as if they were talking about some deal or agreement. With your individual power, even if you have the power Upanishad symbol tower, it's hard to create another absolute beginning original symbol. You can't find that enormous amount of materials. Meiji wore a smile on her face. She had regained her gorgeousness. To refine an absolute beginning original symbol, it could require the experts that top one territory. The sources you have can't do that, but our Phantom clan can. What do you think? Meiji felt sincerely joyful. She knew how precious the power Upanishad symbol tower was. If Shi Yin cooperated with the Phantom clan and let the clan supply the materials to refine the absolute beginning original symbol, the Phantom clan could earn something. As Shi Yin had come from desolate territory, he couldn't use billions of creatures dwelling in desolate territory to refine the absolute beginning original symbol. He had to depend on the big clans like one of the 7 great clans to do that. Today, because Ling Mei had turned her back to him, no matter what Tu Shi and Yi Yun had promised him, he couldn't cooperate with the mysterious Sky Clan anymore. Besides, Shi Yin had offended the Black Demon Clan, the Ancient Monster Clan, the Soul Clan, and the Devouring Clan, leaving him with only the Phantom Clan and the Whitebone Clan to choose. Meiji had calculated detailedly. She couldn't hide her bright face. She believed that if her seniors knew that she could bring Shi Yin to the Phantom Clan with a complete power Upanishad symbol tower, they would kick Batum away. Compared to the power Upanishad symbol tower, Batum's value was worthless. Especially in this case, Shi Yin also knew dark energy, which gave him a certain chance to reach the territory ancestor realm. The feeling of having a fortune fall from the sky comforted Meiji and made her happy. She couldn't help but smile. But what if they want me to be his woman to strengthen the bond? What should I do then? For the sake of the Phantom clan, I should do that, right? Right, for the clan. Not that I like him. Yeah, that's true. Meiji thought, and suddenly felt light. She unconsciously glanced at Shi Yin and blushed. Her watery eyes were like rivers in springtime. Lewd. Not far from them, Audrey observed with a cold face. Looking at Meiji's mature, inviting appearance, she couldn't help but rebuke her and pout her lips. Oh well, what does it have to do with you? I'm talking about something romantic and intimate with my man. What are you jealous of? Meiji was content to see Audrey's cold face. She turned around to mock Audrey. Shi Yin had played a little bit with her name and said that she was his woman. It wasn't something to make a fuss if she used his name to play too. Meiji didn't realize that she was discreetly satisfied when she said so. Audrey snorted, her face cold. Shi Yin was surprised. He couldn't believe that the two women have chosen this time to quarrel. Raking around, he had a good sense, so he accelerated and turned into a flaming jet, heading forward. Ming Hao halted. The area of ruins in front of them had massive rocks floating in the air like raindrops. Ling Mei stood right behind the rock rain curtain and faced them with strangely calm countenances. Batum had stopped hitting the light curtain. Unexpectedly, he walked forward and said, "It was really easy when we got down here. Especially for me. I didn't encounter any obstacle. But now, when we want to leave, we found layers of difficulties. I've tried every trick I know to break the light curtain up there." Pausing for a while, he said, "We shouldn't fight this time. I suggest you guys spend more effort on breaking the light curtain. After that, we can fight to see who can stand until the last moment." He had tried everything he knew. If he had successfully pierced through the light curtain, he wouldn't have saved energy for a deadly battle. Ling Mei looked calm, but she was actually worried. "Meiji, Shi Yin, it's no use to fight here. If we can't break it, no one can get out. Why should we kill each other?" "It doesn't mean we can't break it when you couldn't. Ling Mei, you've teased me. You said that the Phantom women couldn't compare to you. Well, I want to see now if you're really stronger than me. I was hurt, and you were at your best condition at that time. Now, you got hurt too. Finally, we can have a fair game." Meiji's smile bloomed like a flower. She looked extremely comfortable. "You damn slut. What do you think you will get if you help them?" Batum grinned fiendishly. "Once I break through to the territory ancestor realm, the Phantom clan will bring you to my door. Well, let's see how I will play with you then." "Well, I'm afraid you don't have that chance," intervened Shi Yin. "Because of you only?" Batum sneered. When Meiji said that they could break the light curtain, Batum knew that his suggestions couldn't work. He couldn't move his enemies verbally. He finally understood that the coming battle was inevitable. Almost instantly, he had made a heartless decision. He threw all the things that made him hesitant behind his head. He was ready to die in this battle. Even if you want to get through our arrangement, you have to pay a bloody price. Ling Mei gritted her teeth and said with a cold face, "Mei Ji, come fight me. What price will we possibly have to pay?" Shi Yin felt funny. His eyes flashed strangely. The Power Upanishad symbol tower emerged from his head. In just a blink of an eye, it had ballooned and become as imposing as a grand mountain. He didn't know the secrets of the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the light curtain, but he knew that they had a close relationship. He knew one thing. Under this light curtain, the Power Upanishad symbol tower were never damaged by barriers, restrictions, or formations. Indeed, when the Power Upanishad symbol tower slowly landed, it hit a lightning circle first. When the first thunder sounded, the light curtain above their heads radiated a blinding light. The intense light shot out from the sky, shining on that area with barriers and restrictions. When the Power Upanishad symbol tower landed, thunder boomed in that area, followed by earth-shaking explosions. All the defenses Ling Mei and the others had set up were destroyed. Chapter 1435. Enjoy a carefree meal. Chapter 1435. Enjoy a carefree meal. The Power Upanishad symbol tower spun and released a dazzling, rainbow-like light. It looked like an eternal sun. Light columns that were hundreds of meters long shone directly on the Power Upanishad symbol tower. The tower was now bigger and more intimidating. It was more colossal than a mountain. Standing next to it, Shi Yin, Ming Hao and the others were like small butterflies or gray light dots. The Power Upanishad symbol tower slowly descended and brought pressure that could even destroy the entire world. So many lights shot rapidly like meteors. All the restrictions, barriers, and formations bloomed magnificently like fireworks. Their debut was so marvelous, but their ends came close after. How could it be? Ling Mei groaned in agony. Her face twisted as she felt her energy all get drained. She was deeply frightened. Batum was bewildered. Seeing the Power Upanishad symbol tower slowly pressing, he changed his face and screamed, "Retreat." Instantly, everybody urged their power and fled as fast as possible. They were afraid that the Power Upanishad symbol tower would smash them. Boom! The Power Upanishad symbol tower sat like a mountain and mashed all ruins of palaces and towers. Eventually, it stood majestically on the ground. Shi Yin was bewildered. He couldn't help but scream, "Awesome!" Ming Hao and the Godlord looked surprised. They felt awkward when the Power Upanishad symbol tower landed. It seemed like the Power Upanishad symbol tower could draw the power from the light curtain. The moment it landed, a power that could destroy the world appeared and made Ming Hao and the Godlord feel small. They exchanged looks and they saw fear in each other's eyes. They understood that if they hadn't ducked and stayed right under the tower, they wouldn't have escaped death when it pressed down. That power was even scarier than the heaven might. How could you do that? Mei Ji's beautiful eyes rippled beautiful light. She smiled as if she was enjoying the New Year's celebration. It's so interesting to see Ling Mei like a stray, gray dog. Ling Mei ran away from under the Power Upanishad symbol tower. She had dust all over her body and even in her hair. She looked indeed helter-skelter. The black guards of the mysterious Sky Clan were aghast. They looked at the tower and shivered. Telika and Yerberg had gloomy eyes. They looked terror-struck. "It seems like your defense is useless. Haha, I thought you were tough enough, weren't you?" Meiji giggled and moved like a graceful snake woman. Her hips swayed on her way toward Ling Mei. "Come and have a decent fight. Let's see if you can defeat me." Meiji looked cold instantly, ice spreading in her eyes. Crack, crack, crack. Under her feet, the rocks were frozen and shattered. Pieces of ice shot everywhere. Her long hair flew in the wind like icy, silver needles, which made her wilder and colder. Instantly, hundreds of thousands of tiny ice needles shot out from her body. Unexpectedly, she was the first one to take action. I have to go home, really. I don't want to waste more time. The God Lord strode and light congregated above his head, creating a dazzling world of colorful light. A light ball that looked like a whole planet made of gold flew out of his incipient extent. The light ball spun, crushing space and falling on Telika, Yerberg, and Farlow. The massive gold lances were like hedgehog spikes that shot toward them. Telika, Yerbo, and Farlow, the three outstanding warriors of the 7 great clans, looked like they were made of gold under that gold light. The gold light on their bodies was blazing to the others. Puffed, Telika spurted blood. Countless gold, gory holes appeared on his body as he began to bleed terribly. Yarberg and Farlow weren't better. They were also bleeding when the gold lights hit them. They were taken down. Soul-devouring. Sure Yin glided past the Power Upanishad symbol tower. While moving, he whispered something. The black hole flew out of his glabella. Just like a massive mouth, it opened and snatched Yerberg, Farlow, and Telika. It was ready to swallow their soul altars when they got out of their bodies. Seeing the black hole coming, Yerberg and the other 2 were desperate. They knew that they couldn't even escape using the soul. You can't flee. The God Lord strolled to them, light radiating from him. Beams of holy, pure light cut and gashed their bodies like sharp blades. They were minced into pieces of flesh. Farlow was also at third sky of Immortal Realm. However, she didn't have a bit of energy to resist the God Lord. As their bodies were destroyed, their soul altars had to leave quickly. They tried their best to run. There came a terrifying suction force from the black hole that was aimed at their soul altars. Invisible ropes tied them down. No matter how hard they wiggled, they couldn't escape. One after another, they were sucked into the black hole. After the 3 soul altars were dragged into the black hole, Shi Yan's soul felt like he was having a great feast. Both of the souls were extremely satisfied. You guys should go with him too? The God Lord sounded calm. His shadow swiftly moved and reappeared by the members of the mysterious Sky Clan behind Ling Mei. A new world of magnificent light arose and turned into a massive hand of a light god that grabbed the black guards. They were squeezed to death. Shi Yan's black hole came after and swallowed the soul altars of those black guards. He felt happier, indeed. At that moment, his body moved agilely like a merman to help the devouring Power Upanishad collect the essence chi from the others' bodies. His acupuncture points started to get busy. In just a short time, the God Lord solved Telika, the black guards of the mysterious Sky Clan, and the others single-handedly. Still wearing an indifferent face, he shook his head and said regretfully, "They're weaker than Xian He and Frederick." As they were at third sky of Immortal Realm, Farlow was 1 level higher than Xian He and Frederick. However, their real competence was much weaker. Of course, it was because the God Lord had recovered his consumed energy after resting for a long time. As the bold one who dared to stand against Bloodthirsty, of course, he had his own intimidating aura. "If you want to kill me, you have to pay a painful price. Do you not believe it?" Batum's round body floated in the void. So many tornadoes followed each other, hovering like giant gray dragons by him. Those tornadoes touched both the sky and the ground, swaying and rolling. They were like gray smoke and mist that burst to the sky, or the tongue of some fearful demons. A strange energy fluctuated from the center of those tornadoes, which made Ming Hao frown. Shi Yin focused on sensing and then spoke. "It's dark energy. Those tornadoes have bits of dark energy in the center. He has not reached the territory ancestor realm yet, so he can only use the energy that way. Even if he doesn't understand the dark energy thoroughly, it's still very powerful." Pausing, Shi Yin reminded, "He wants to risk his life." Ming Hao pouted his lips and said coldly, "He's way behind our master from that year." "Yeah, he's millions of miles behind. He's just an amateur with a shallow understanding of dark energy, and he thinks he can overturn this situation." Then, beams of light radiated from Ming Hao's body. Instantly, so many big mirrors were conjured in the void. They were like hanging mountains indeed. When Ming Hao's light shone on them, they reflected so many different worlds and illusions. With countless soul clones, the mirrors had reflected Ming Hao's figure everywhere. There were more than tens of thousands of him now. Ming Hao's reflections had filled the entire sky, creating a sea of people and blocking Batum in the middle. It was like an army of tens of thousands of soldiers attacking only Batum. Batum couldn't tell which was his real body. Shi Yin observed for a while, and he eased his mind, continuing to concentrate on taking in the essence qi from the dead. With the 3 supernatural abilities, soul control, cloning, and space, Ming Hao had become the greatest magician ever in this world. He could even trouble a territory ancestor realm expert. A bungler like Batum was no match. Crucial ice explode. On the other side, Meiji wore an icy face, facing Ling Mei and striking crazily. Ice exploded everywhere and sent ice sabers to Ling Mei. Ling Mei was hiding in a water pond where water was surging and creating layers to defend against the ice explosions. Meiji sneered and pressed forward. More ice exploded between her and Ling Mei. It looked like countless dynamites had been buried in the ice and went off at the same time, sending so many icicles that were dozens of meters long toward the water pond. Ling Mei paled inside the water pond. The light in her eyes slowly dimmed out. "Well, didn't you brutally attack me?" Meiji jeered. "If I hadn't been hurt and still had all my energy, how are you going to defeat me? At this moment, we aren't very different, and you're only hiding from me." Ling Mei gritted her teeth and said nothing. "Well, let me tell you something." Meiji walked toward her, lowering her voice. "Do you know what is the worst thing you've done?" Ling Mei was bewildered. "You should have listened to Tu Shiqi. You should have tried your best to create a good relationship with Shi Yin. Then, you could have gotten the Power Upanishad symbol tower. With only his individual competence, he couldn't refine the absolute beginning original symbol. It's obvious. Only those of the 7 great clans have the capacity to do that. Because you're greedy, you have to bury your corpse here with nothing. It's really ridiculous, you say. You think you're smart. But it's just you who thinks so. Thus, you're not as strong as me. You will never defeat me, regardless it is power, will, or judgment," said Meiji arrogantly. Puffed, puffed, puffed. Countless icicles shot over and destroyed the water layers, piercing Ling Mei. Ling Mei shook hard, her waist bleeding. The light in her eyes dimmed. Meiji wasn't polite. She continued to attack more harshly with her ice power Upanishad, hitting the water pond directly. Shi Yin squinted and watched Ling Mei for a while. He knew she couldn't escape death this time. Then, he turned to Batum. "Godlord, sir, if you want to go home early, put more effort. We should finish Batum soon. Don't waste people's time." The Godlord snorted. Pondering for a while, he jumped into the fantasy world that Ming Hao had created. Shortly after, Shi Yin heard Batum screeching. It seemed like he wasn't far from death. Chapter 1436, A Strong Current. Chapter 1436, A Strong Current _ Inside the fantasy space mirrors, Batum's voice weakened. The Godlord and Ming Hao had joined hands to kill him. Batum couldn't get out with his body. Indeed, when the scream from the mirrors ceased, Batum's soul altar flew out like a breeze of wind, trying to escape. Shi Yan's black hole was hovering by the light curtain and waiting for him patiently. A soul-sucking force came. Batum's soul struggled hard, but he couldn't escape. Following Yerbo and the others, he was dragged into the black hole. Almost at the same time, the water pond that Ling Mei's power had created froze as the icy energy intruded. Inside the water pond, Ling Mei was a beautiful ice sculpture, locked in the pond. From a distance, it looked like she was sealed in a world of ice where only the beauty of the coldness was exposed. Ling Mei's breathing slowly subsided. Her gloomy eyes looked at Shi Yin from a distance as she tried to shake her head. Her eyes showed her deep regret. She regretted that she didn't listen to Tu Shiqi's advice. She regretted that she didn't make a precise assumption. She had caused the deaths of her team and herself. She knew Tu Shiqi was correct. Unfortunately, it was too late to regret. "I know you owe Tu Shiqi a favor." Meiji resumed her graceful charm, her eyes bright. "So, do you need me to show mercy and spare her life?" Ling Mei was shaken. She looked yearning and begging when she eyed Shi Yin. Shi Yin shook his head and said with a cold face, I'm not a good guy. If someone wants to kill me, no matter who she is or what title she bears, I will treat her the same way." While talking, he finished swallowing Batum's soul altar. Then, he landed on the frozen water pond. His 10 fingers interlaced and sent 10 sharp blades that gashed the frozen pond. Crack, crack. The space sabers cut the pond into numerous pieces. Of course, Ling Mei was frozen inside and couldn't escape. Her body was like a diamond under the cutter. The black hole, an ability of devouring power Upanishad, came as a massive mouth. Without giving time for Ling Mei to resist, a soul-sucking force came and swallowed her within one attempt. "You're truly evil and heartless. You can do such things to a beautiful flower?" Ling Mei of the mysterious Sky Clan was famous for her glamour. "You killed her. Don't you feel regret?" Meiji smiled and teased Shi Yin, her eyes bright and excited. "Beautiful women are everywhere. It's not rare. It doesn't matter how many of them die." Shi Yin frowned and lifted his head to watch the sky. "We need to break that light curtain to leave soon." "Yeah, and you must hurry." Those dead warriors had high positions in their clans. Their souls should have some connection. Ming Hong was lying on Audrey's shoulder and talking in a low voice. "You got this, don't you?" He turned to Meiji. Meiji's smile ceased and she nodded. Yerberg and Ling Mei were important warriors in their clans. Usually, a wisp of their souls are connected to some treasures. When their souls died, those treasures react. "You mean, the members of the 7 clans already know that Yerberg, Ling Mei, and Telika are murdered?" Shi Yin changed his visage slightly. "Possibly," Meiji confirmed. "Anyway, we must kill them. If they send information, the others will know what happened here. They would know about the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the absolute beginning original symbol. They can even know the location." Pausing for a while, she continued, "But now, they only know that Yerberg and Ling Mei were dead. They wouldn't know what had happened down here or the location. Once we leave this place, it will be really hard to find us in the Sea of Annihilation." "She's right. We should hurry to leave before they get here. Otherwise, it will be very troublesome. They said that Tate's teacher is in the Sea of Annihilation too. If he knows, I think we won't be able to live. We should return to desolate territory as quickly as possible." Ming Hong said sternly. He had refined Sing's soul, so he knew many secrets of the Soul Clan. He knew how terrifying that person was. It was easy to guess that Tate's death would enrage that person. Thus, he was a little scared. "Tate's teacher," the God Lord's bold voice arose. "Very powerful? Is he as strong as bloodthirsty?" Neptune is one of the 3 great territory ancestors of the Soul Clan. Although he's at the first sky of the realm, he has the absolute beginning divine weapon called the Soul Refining Cauldron. Neptune is really powerful in addition to having the cauldron. I don't know how strong Bloodthirsty became later, but when I left, he wasn't stronger than Neptune. Ming Hong was cautious. He hasn't finished making his life treasure, the Soul Refining Cauldron, yet. He needs more strong souls. If the Soul Refining Cauldron becomes complete, I think he'll be more intimidating. "He's not as strong as my master," said Ming Hao. The God Lord agreed with him. Bloodthirsty could defeat Devour, the ancestor of the Devouring clan, and make it dormant. After that Bloodthirsty got hurt, he could still slaughter our union. I had to sacrifice my body and the leaders of the big forces everywhere to kill him. Neptune can't compare to Bloodthirsty in his best condition. I don't know who Bloodthirsty is, but I know Neptune's really formidable. If he can tame the Soul Refining Cauldron to reach second sky of Territory Ancestor Realm, he will become one of the 10 great Territory Ancestors. When he comes here, none of us will be able to resist him. Batum and Ganfu are just rookies compared to him, intervened Meiji. I think we can't fight against Neptune now, said Ming Hong. Ming Hao on the God Lord side when the other two said so. The God Lord said, too bad that I haven't reached the Territory Ancestor Realm. Otherwise, I would never see that Neptune with my eyes. Break that light curtain, quickly, hissed Ming Hao. Shi Yin nodded. Then, without saying anything else, he plunged on the majestic power Upanishad symbol tower. Lifting his head to observe the light curtain, he sank into his thoughts. The co-soul in his brain had many absolute beginning symbols moved disorderly. He couldn't fuse completely with Desolate Soul, so he couldn't understand the meaning of the symbols. He focused, holding his breath and trying to see what mysteries they hid. However, the black hole was revolving fast. The massive mouth sent out refined energy that stimulated his mind. He knew that the black hole got a big harvest this time. Batum, Gonfu, Yerberg, and the others had profound realms, and Batum and Gonfu had dark energy. The refining process was much slower than at other times, and he expected some troubles too. Then, it happened. The refining process that happened inside the black hole had affected his mind and distracted him. He didn't understand those symbols that would have allowed him to discover the secrets of the Power Upanishad symbol tower. He couldn't even focus. Gradually, Yin felt so irritated. As time flew, he still stood on the Power Upanishad symbol tower without moving or taking any action. Brian's face slowly darkened. If he lied to us and he can't open the light curtain, I'll do my best to kill him to vent my wrath. Ming Hao's face was also dark and gloomy. He frowned and looked pensive. Mei Ji and Audrey kept silent. They were frightened, indeed. They just hoped that Yin could find a way to get them out of here. Sea of Annihilation. In the Soul Clan's base, the souls were like snakes slithering around the island and gathering departed souls and ghosts on the brocade flags, bringing them back to Neptune. The soul refining cauldron spun above Neptune's head and sucked all the brutal souls and ghosts. The absolute beginning symbols on the soul refining cauldron began to sparkle and then move like tiny snakes. Puffed. Shortly after, on Neptune's thin and dry arm, a soul bead exploded. It turned into wisps of smoke, congregating and creating a blurry face. It was Tate, and it was dull and blank without living energy. As he was refining the soul refining cauldron, his eyes darkened when the soul bead shattered. Each disciple of his had given him a soul seal that he kept in a soul bead. From that soul seal, he could sense his disciples' location, or he could smash their souls easily. It was a dark technique to control his disciples. Of course, when his disciples died, he would know it first, and he would even know the location of the incident. Today, Tate's soul bead exploded. Neptune knew what happened. His eyes rolled fast. Using the souls of 3 incipient God Realm experts as sacrificial objects, he cast a supernatural technique to search. After a while, Neptune snorted. Trash. He dared to deceive me and get into the sea to find the absolute beginning vestige. I have no pity for his death. I'd wasted my efforts to train him for thousands of years. He opened his mouth to cast a spell, which then fell into the soul refining cauldron. Instantaneously, billions of souls swarmed into the cauldron. Putting the cauldron into his sleeve, Neptune got up and vanished like a shadow. On another island in the Sea of Annihilation, Tu Shirchi and his wife, Yiyun, were drinking with Forefather Dragon Lizard on the island. They were discussing some important matters. Ding, ding, ding. The tinkling sounds of a bell arose from Yiyun's sleeve. She was surprised to hear the small bell. Then, she used her soul to receive the message from the mysterious Sky Clan's headquarters. Yiyun became so frightened. She jolted up and screamed. The soul tree of that little girl Ling Mei withered. She'd perished utterly. Before we came here, Ling Mei had taken the Black Guards to the sea to search for the absolute beginning vestige. She died there. Tu Shirchi changed his face. Taking a deep breath, he said, Dragon Lizard brother, please go with us to the seabed. Ling Mei had a special profile. She was Han Tion's granddaughter. Dragon Lizard also changed his countenance. He knew that the Sea of Annihilation wouldn't be calm anymore. Okay, I'm going with you guys. Chapter 1437, Frantic Suppression. Chapter 1437, Frantic Suppression, Undersea Ruins. Yin sat neatly atop the Power Upanishad symbol tower, his face stern. He was trying to find a way to break the light curtain. He didn't know that because of Yerberg, Telika, Farlow, Ling Mei, and Tate, the entire Sea of Annihilation was surging. The experts of the Soul Clan, Mysterious Sky Clan, Devouring Clan, Black Demon Clan, and Ancient Monster Clan in the Sea of Annihilation were using different channels to confirm why their juniors died. The 5 clans announced that they were trying their best to find the murderers. They had urged their forces to search through the entire Sea of Annihilation, whether they were on the surface or on the seabed. At this moment, the experts of the 5 clans had visited each island in the Sea of Annihilation. The Phantom Clan was also trying to search and call for Meiji to come back to the clan. The Sea of Annihilation erupted as if it detonated. This incident was much more influential than many people had expected. Quickly, the information about the Absolute Beginning vestige released unknowingly. The secret of the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower was revealed, angering the other clans besides the 7 great clans. The Sea of Annihilation was hustling and bustling. People moved around on the sea, in the seabed, and at every corner. The warriors began to search for something. If we can't leave soon, Neptune will come at any minute. I know the Soul Clan's evil deeds and I know how Neptune is. I'm sure he can vaguely locate us from Tate's death. Ming Hong became solemn. At his realm and cultivation base, once he finds the right direction, he will arrive faster than we think. What Ming Hong had said had put more pressure on the group. Audrey and Meiji decided to stay silent. They didn't dare to talk as they were afraid that they could enrage the Godlord and Ming Hao, which would bring Shi Yin unnecessary troubles. The Godlord looked cold and harsh. His eyes scanned Shi Yin, the cold intention on his face clear. He was losing his patience. If he can't break the confinement, you too will be buried with him. The Godlord snorted. His eyes fell on Audrey and Meiji. The 2 women felt shivers running down their spines. You can't touch Audrey if I'm here. Ming Hao wore a cold face. Meiji felt so chilled. Pondering, she forced a smile. Yeah, you can kill me. But if Shi Yin can't break this place, even if I die, you won't live. None of us can leave, to be exact. Neptune alone can kill all of us. Hearing her, Ming Hao and the Godlord became more restless. They all grimaced. Shut up, all of you. Shi Yin bellowed and landed all of a sudden. From a distance, he looked at the Godlord and then at Ming Hao, speaking coldly. You two, shut your mouths too. Then, the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower bloomed with billions of dazzling light rays. It began to move with ultimate power, grumblingly pressing down on the Godlord and Ming Hao. You guys can kill Batum and Gonfu here. I can kill you too. Do you think you're that strong? The Power Upanishad Symbol Tower suddenly emitted the formidable heavenly might. It rose in the void and then grumblingly landed. The Godlord and Ming Hao lifted their heads to watch with severe countenances. They were dumbstruck indeed. At this moment, they remembered that Shi Yin had used the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower to break all the restrictions and barriers that Ling Mei, Batum, and the others had set up in just one strike. The Godlord and Ming Hao were frightened. They were scared because of that invincible might. At this moment, Shi Yin, in his wrath, had controlled the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower that was pressing on their heads. They were startled, indeed. They now recognized that with the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower in this absolute beginning vestige, Shi Yin wasn't a soft persimmon for them to squeeze as they pleased. Although I can't break the light curtain immediately, it's not a big deal to control the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower to play with you too, Shi Yin said harshly. The Power Upanishad Symbol Tower fell from the sky. So many light layers dropped from the sky streaming into the windows on the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower. At that moment, the threat from the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower rocketed several times. Under that pressure, the Godlord and Ming Hao could hear their bones cracking. They seemed to not be able to resist such pressure, and their bodies were about to burst. That pressure wasn't aimed at Audrey and Meiji. When they saw things going wrong, they had parted already. This pressure could be compared to a strike from Territory Ancestor Realm experts. Extremely formidable indeed. Ming Hong couldn't help but scream on Audrey's shoulder. What are they doing? That young man doesn't know the general picture, and those 2 old men have lost their minds. If they continue this way, they will die altogether before the enemies come. Audrey and Meiji were worried and sorrowful. They didn't know what to say to ease this situation. Kid, You dare to attack us now? You aren't afraid of death, are you? Bellowed the God Lord. Sure Yin, what the heck are you doing? Screamed Ming Hao. I want to tell you that even if I can't break the restriction in this area, you don't have the right to babble here. I'm standing here to see who you will bury with me. You asked who courts death? Sure Yin sneered and looked crazy. Ming Hao, I am the master of the bloodthirsty force. With your dark scheme, you want trouble, don't you? I'll show you that the prestige of the bloodthirsty force's master isn't something you can challenge. The power Upanishad symbol tower descended grumblingly with terrifying waves of energy fluctuations that created waves of light above Ming Hao and the God Lord. Ming Hao and the God Lord straightened their bodies, their hands pushing the sky. One of them had 5 stars revolving, and the other had billions of clones. Altogether, they were trying to resist the descending power Upanishad symbol tower. Gonfu, Batum, Yerberg, Telika, and Farlo were all experts at the immortal realm. After they died, the negative energies including brutality, desperation, resent, and others in their essence chi had poured into Shi Yan's acupuncture points. After their soul altars were swallowed, many pieces of memories that didn't belong to Shi Yan continuously flashed in his mind. They troubled him a lot. He was annoyed and irritated. The negative energies seized the chance to affect him. Because he couldn't break the light curtain, he had lost his patience and become edgy. Negative energies attacked him easily in this condition. The God Lord's jeering and sinister words, Ming Hao observing him with his cold eyes and the dark conspiracy. Shi Yan knew them all. At this moment, he finally cracked and lost his temper. He ignored the light curtain, Neptune, and the others. After his volcano ignited, he erupted. Boom! Between the God Lord, Ming Hao, and the power Upanishad symbol tower, there was a combat area where the energy from the tower entangled with the God Lord's and Ming Hao's energies. Their energies were colliding and fighting against each other. That area was so beautiful with blazing sparks and magnificent blooming lights. It was more impressive than the most beautiful firework performance. However, the energy from the impact was extremely terrifying. The energy shockwaves had crushed the rocks and the ruins around into powder in just a blink of an eye. Everything had become dust. Audrey and Meiji had to move further away to avoid the fierce battle. They screamed because Shi Yan had suddenly become frantic and stirred the situation to the point that they couldn't save it. They felt so begrudging. Meiji and Audrey wanted to cry, thinking that while the others were fighting, the warriors of the Sea of Annihilation like Neptune were marching toward them. Why did they have to do that? Shi Yan, are you crazy? Ming Hao thundered. So many clones of him perished while colliding with the energy from the power Upanishad symbol tower. He could feel his energy drain away as the energy from the power Upanishad symbol tower was crushing down. Seeing the God Lord about to burst out frantically, he regretted it. He regretted letting the God Lord threaten Shi Yan. He regretted not recognizing how dangerous Shi Yan could be in this area with the power Upanishad symbol tower in his hands. Haha, I've had to endure you guys for a long time. Shi Yan sat on the power Upanishad symbol tower and laughed crazily. Today, I will play everything I have. Even if I die, I will show you my power. Do you still think you're invincible? If you are, how could we throw you here and trap you for dozens of years? Well, if you don't see the danger, you won't remember for a long time. You still think you're the overlords. Boom. The power Upanishad symbol tower continued to press down. Erg! The God Lord and Ming Hao roared. They felt like so many planets were placed on their heads that they couldn't even stand upright. Ming Hao was just a soul, so his condition wasn't really bad. His soul flickered as his soul power was quickly consumed. The God Lord's body made cracked sounds as if he was about to shatter. They found that the frantic Shi Yan was even tougher than bloodthirsty. This kid didn't reason or use logic. He didn't care about the general picture too. He wasn't afraid of death. To vie for some vague thing, he could even destroy the whole world. When they finally recognized this, they felt so bitter. They couldn't estimate how strong he was with the power Upanishad symbol tower in this area. They were all regretful. They shouldn't have pushed Shi Yan to make him burst out at the end of the corner. They shouldn't have attacked him verbally and instead try to clear the situation. Unfortunately, their regret came a little too late. Shi Yan's eyes turned garnet in his frenzied state. They knew that he wouldn't listen to any word, so they could only resist persistently. They reaped what they sowed, indeed. They smiled bitterly. Audrey and Meiji felt their scalps become numb. They were so worried, as if they had a flame burning their hearts. They decided to scream about how Neptune and the others were coming to persuade them to stop. No use. The boy's eyes are red now. It's the sign of his exploding state. I understood the bloodthirsty force enough to tell you that in such a state, he has lost his mind. He can't hear you, sighed Ming Hong. Then what should we do? Meiji was panic-stricken. There is no solution. Ming Hong shook his head. All of a sudden, the seawater forcefully fell from the sky. They heard the sounds of swarming water, baffling them. However, they knew what had happened shortly after. They couldn't hide their thrill. Meiji shrilled, "Broken? It's broken." I got it. The Power Upanishad symbol tower has taken too much energy from the light curtain. It's not enough to resist anymore. The water pressure finally tore it. Lucky bastard. The boy just bumped around and he found the right method. Ming Hong also screamed strangely. Chapter 1438, Meiji's Boldness. Chapter 1438, Meiji's Boldness. Seabed. The flows of light from the light curtain streamed into the opened windows of the Power Upanishad symbol tower. The horrible water pressure swarmed over and brought billions of water currents pouring from the sky. After a moment, the absolute beginning vestige was covered in water. Without the light curtain's protection, everybody was suffocating under the water pressure. It felt like they were pressed between two mountains. They had to gather the god power to create a light cage to cover their bodies entirely. Shortly after, the light curtain in the dome that covered the vestige had entered the Power Upanishad symbol tower completely. The tower shone radiantly, and its power rocketed dozens of times. The Godlord and Ming Hong were frightened. Ming Hong's clones scattered. The Godlord's body was cracking. They were about to be smashed. Shi Yan. Audrey's clear and cold voice was like a cold water current shooting toward Shi Yan. Audrey had sent her energy with the essence of the God-blessed mainland, which had a subtle connection to Shi Yan's co-soul, together with her call. The call with her spirit and desolate soul dashed toward Shi Yan and stimulated his frantic mind. Shi Yan looked lucid for a while. The light curtain is broken. We can go home now. Seeing him lucid, Audrey pushed it further. We shouldn't waste more time. We're going home now. We're going home now. The blood-red color in Shi Yan's eyes subsided. His mind came back to him. He sat cross-legged atop the Power Upanishad symbol tower and observed his surroundings. After pondering for a while, he jumped off the tower. When the Godlord and Ming Hong were about to collapse, he waved his hand and grabbed the tower. It shrank magically. After less than a minute, it was as big as his palm. Shi Yan put it into his incipient extent. Ming Hong and the Godlord exhaled in relief. They exchanged forced smiles and were too exhausted to talk. 20,000 years ago, Bloodthirsty's debut had shadowed the entire world. He had pushed Imperial Dark Tribe away from their ruling throne and suffocated the tribe. Many experts of Imperial Dark Tribe were killed, or they fled to other territories to avoid the lethal wave. No one knew why Ming Hong wanted to follow Bloodthirsty and fight for him. He had helped the Bloodthirsty force become the overlord of desolate territory, enslaving everybody. 10,000 years later, Brian the Godlord was destined to take the Genesis fruit and receive Desolate's inheritance. With Desolate's trigger in the dark, he had seized the chance to finish Bloodthirsty, who was hurt severely. The God Clan then replaced the Bloodthirsty force to turn the world upside down. However, whether it was Ming Hong or the Godlord, they were subdued by Bloodthirsty for the rest of their lives. The Godlord could become the winners in the end. It wasn't because he was strong. He just had an excellent opportunity. After that, the Godlord's body exploded and turned into dust. He had to survive with only a wisp of his soul. After 10,000 years, he had borrowed Haig's body to come to this world one more time. bloodthirsty was the high mountain that they would never cross, even if they had spent the rest of their life attempting to. After so many years, when bloodthirsty's influence finally ceased, they thought that they could finally become the master of this earth and heaven. And then, Shi Yin slowly grew up. Today, Shi Yin had the first sky of Immortal Realm cultivation base. Although he was using external forces, he could suppress them and attack them frantically. And they couldn't do anything to counterattack, as they thought that they could finally escape the nightmare called bloodthirsty and become the master of this world. They got so bitter and discontented upon seeing Shi Yin. However, they could only sigh inwardly. They recognized that although bloodthirsty was gone, he had left a tough riddle. Shi Yin was the seed of this riddle. Previously, they didn't even bat an eye at this seed. They looked down on him and thought about him as a chess piece or a joke. In just a blink of an eye, this seed sprouted and grew to a big towering tree. That tree gradually shaded their light. To them, they had been waiting painstakingly for 10,000 years. When they could finally rule the entire world, they saw Shi Yin leap up rapidly. How deep could this sorrow be? The Power Upanishad symbol tower disappeared into Shi Yin's incipient extent. He tried to suppress his bloodthirsty desire, talking deliberately. Just like you guys, I want to return to desolate territory as soon as possible. I want to change the situation in desolate territory. If you think you can squeeze me or kill me, I'm telling you, you've highly appraised yourself. Then, he stopped looking at Ming Hong and the God Lord as starlight congregated around him and created a light cage. He stepped out and landed by Audrey and Meiji. He said, "Retreat now." She, what do we do with her? Audrey was apparently cautious when she gestured toward Meiji. Bring her with us? Shi Yin wore an indifferent face. Do you have any other idea? No, nothing. Meiji hurried to state her opinion. I think it's better to kill her. She's not from our desolate territory. If she follows us and knows the entrance to desolate territory, it will be a lot of trouble, suggested Ming Hong. I agree with a point she has suggested. We can't refine the absolute beginning original symbol using the Power Upanishad symbol tower. We still need to depend on the 7 clans. We have to choose a partner. She's a good partner, anyway, said Shi Yin. Meiji's inner lake rippled. Her beautiful eyes were filled with joy. Her long eyelashes batted as she was shivering slightly. She knew the meaning of the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the power of the absolute beginning original symbol. They were the marvelous items that could support the territory ancestor realm experts learning the ultimate Power Upanishad and the principle of a Power Upanishad. It was the rarest of the rarest objects. If the Phantom Clan could use the Power Upanishad symbol tower to refine the absolute beginning original symbol for their territory ancestors, their competencies would increase greatly. Her entire race would thrive, and perhaps they would become the most powerful clan among the 7 clans. Meiji smiled like a flower as if she saw a beautiful future. Don't worry. I pledge my life to go the same way as you. I will never leave on my own. She was smart and bold. She knew what they were afraid of. She didn't hesitate and gave a wisp of her soul seal, which was a triangle crystal. The icy crystal fell and hovered in front of Shi Yin. It's my soul sea. You can keep it. As long as I have a different thought, you can smash it to explode my soul altogether. Shi Yin was surprised. Audrey, Ming Hong, the God Lord, and Ming Hong were baffled. They looked at Meiji with a strange countenance. This woman was truly a bold and unpredictable expert. They could almost instantly confirm Meiji's characteristics. Seeing her hand over the soul sea, the others didn't object to her anymore. Brian also nodded as he appreciated the woman's virtues. It wasn't rare that someone would hand the other the soul seal. However, in most of the cases, they were forced to do that. Meiji, who deliberately did that, was rare, though. Swish. The triangle crystal hovered on Shi Yin's sea of consciousness. A strange, subtle connection swarmed into his soul. He turned to Meiji, his eyes bright. He found that he was somehow closer to her. Meiji smiled, bowed to greet, and giggled. My life is in your hands. Please take care of me. Also, you have to live well. If you die, I will die with you altogether. Shi Yin nodded. He was convinced by her boldness. Then, with a dark face, he turned to Audrey and Ming Hong. Any other idea? No one said more. They were also convinced by Mei Ji's deeds. No one wanted to raise more dispute. Why don't we leave now? Shi Yin snorted impatiently. Let me guide us. Ming Hong shuddered, turning from a small bat to a gruesome, brutal soul. The way Ming Hong and the others had taken to enter this place is deviated and leads to somewhere rural. They aren't familiar with the sea domain of nihility. But after Sing tamed me, he often moved around the sea of annihilation. Right? All of you, follow me. Turning into a ghostly shadow, Ming Hong pulled Audrey's soul lotus throne and moved quickly in the sea. The Godlord and Ming Hong didn't say anything. They followed close behind Ming Hong like two shadows. Thank you, Mei Ji called sweetly after the other had left. While Shi Yin was still baffled, her voluptuous body had wormed into his starlight cage. Her beautiful lips pecked on his left cheek like the dragonfly gliding above the water. She said honestly, without your protection, I would have ended up like Batum and Ling Mei. I wouldn't have escaped death. Shi Yin rubbed his cheek instinctively and said indifferently, You tried your best to protect me when the others attacked me. You risked your life with Ling Mei because of me. I don't care why you did that. Even if it's because of the Power Upanishad symbol tower, I owe you. I don't like to owe anybody anything. So, I want to pay you. While talking, his light cage carried him and Mei Ji moving toward Audrey. All right, we're done with favors. Mei Ji bent her head, her eyes upset. Shi Yin nodded. We will not count the previous incidents. Later, we'll talk later then. Mei Ji was moved. She lifted her head, her eyes bright with joy. Dash. Several hours later, a piece of the sea filled with ghosts and brutal souls descended amid the ruins. Neptune, the territory ancestor realm expert of the Soul Clan, squinted and sat cross-legged inside the Soul Sea. He looked like the most fearsome ghost. He sensed for a while, then mumbled, It's here? He moved around the absolute beginning vestige and reached the area where Tate was murdered. His eyes brightened. However, it wasn't because of Tate's death. He was surprised to look at the area where the Power Upanishad symbol tower used to be. Observing the special traces, he said, It's unexpectedly where the Power Upanishad symbol tower was placed. Then, so many souls flew out of the sea of souls underneath his body and moved in every direction to search for something. After a while, he couldn't spot any soul energy fluctuation. His face gradually darkened. I'm sure they're still in the sea of annihilation. I don't think I can't find you. He pondered for a while. A jet-black bead was conjured in front of his eyes. The bead was shimmering and showing the faces of the Soul Clan members. All clansmen in the sea of annihilation. Find me. He took a deep breath, his eyes open wide. A strange water current rolled at the area the Power Upanishad symbol tower used to be. Slowly, it became Shi Yan's face. That portrait looked like it was printed out. Find me this man. Mobilize all of our members. Then, he closed his eyes and tried to sense further. Just a kid at first sky of a mortal realm. You dare to imprint your aura on the Power Upanishad symbol tower. You're wasting a heavenly treasure. Chapter 1439. The entire sea of annihilation is surging. Chapter 1439. The entire sea of annihilation is surging. Neptune spread the news. From this area, his discreet searching expanded. Not long after he had gone, Forefather Dragon Lizard, Tu Shi, and Yeyun landed in the middle of ruins on the seabed. They could feel Ling Mei's lingering aura. Finally, they confirmed she was killed. I wonder who did that. Not everybody knows the relationship between Ling Mei and Forefather Han Tian. Perhaps the one who murdered her didn't know that, either. Yeyun felt her heart was hung up high. She was begrudging and didn't know what to do. The outstanding experts among Han Tian's sons were killed in the battlefields, and their soul altars broke while they were breaking through to the new realm. The living ones are just ordinary warriors. However, he has some excellent grandchildren. Ling Mei was the most prominent. Forefather Han Tian had high expectations of her. He had assigned her to the Sea of Annihilation to train further. She didn't fail him, indeed. She achieved a lot while working in the Sea of Annihilation. Her realm had reached the peak of a mortal realm, which surprised and delighted forefather Han Tian a lot. But now, Yiyun couldn't continue. Too sure she also wore a heavy countenance. It's really serious this time. If forefather Han Tian wasn't cultivating in seclusion, he should know this already. Even if he wasn't there yet, the other elders will do their best to solve this. We're in the Sea of Annihilation. We can't avoid the responsibility. If we don't give forefather Han Tian an explanation, he will boil the entire Sea of Annihilation when he figures this out. We must do our best in this, said Yiyun. They quickly came to a conclusion. They ordered all members of the mysterious Sky Clan in the Sea of Annihilation to take action and search everything related to the Absolute beginning vestige. On the base of the Devouring Clan in the Sea of Annihilation, a haggard old man of the Devouring Clan was chanting Gong Fu's name with dull and watery eyes. He was struggling in grief. He was Gong Fu's husband, Chi Mo, who cultivated Chaos Power Upanishad. Just like Gong Fu, he had touched dark energy and was just one step away from the Territory Ancestor realm. He had just returned from the Devouring Clan's headquarters with an enormous amount of materials. He had planned to build the territory with Gong Fu. As soon as he arrived, his heart beat frantically. He realized he had lost the connection with Gong Fu's soul. He immediately recognized that Gong Fu was in danger. He chanted Gong Fu's name and sent soul energy with his calling to the seabed. Gradually, he had located where Gong Fu died. Then, he did what Neptune and Tu Shih did. He called for all members of the clan to take action. At the same time, the elders of the Black Demon Clan, Ancient Monster Clan, also sent their orders to ask their members in the Sea of Annihilation to take action and find the murderers. The Soul Clan, the Devouring Clan, the Mysterious Sky Clan, the Black Demon Clan, and the Ancient Monster Clan all had the young talents of their clan die unknowingly. They had announced that they were searching for the murderers. This incident was really rare in the long history of the Sea of Annihilation. The 5 clans also stated their big rewards for anyone who could provide precise information. As soon as the clans confirmed the information, those who gave the information would receive generous rewards. The Mysterious Sky Clan offered an immortal pellet and a bottle of spirit-congealing pellet as the rewards. The Soul Clan used 5 heavenly soul beads as rewards. The heavenly soul beads were suitable for every expert at the immortal realm. It could mend the soul altar magically. Territory Ancestor Neptune had refined those beads. Chimo's spouse of the Devouring Clan was killed. In his rage, he had offered many materials to refine the territory when he broke through to the Territory Ancestor realm to award anyone with the correct information. The Black Demon Clan promised 3 kinds of pellets to refine the body. Those pellets could produce flesh and blood chi. They were a great help to transform the body and to understand dark energy. The Ancient Demon Clan offered a set of armor made of broken pieces of absolute beginning divine weapons as a reward. Rumors said that the set armor could resist a Territory Ancestor realm expert's attack 3 times. It was a precious treasure to protect one's life. The 5 clans had promised generous rewards that had shaken the entire Sea of Annihilation. So many warriors were stimulated. The Immortal Pellet, the Spirit-Congealing Pellet, the Heavenly Soul Beads, the pellets that boosted the chance to understand dark energy, the armor that could resist the Territory Ancestor's attack 3 times. All of them were rare and extremely precious items. The onlookers were stirred. Whether they knew the truth or not, they were attracted by the big rewards the 5 clans had offered. They worked themselves into a frenzy to search the surface and the seabed. For the time being, so many powerful experts and even the hermits stopped secluding to join the crowd to search. Information related to the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the absolute beginning original symbol quickly spread out. This was even a bigger bomb to the other domineering clans in the Sea of Annihilation. They were all moved. The real characters who knew how precious the Power Upanishad symbol tower was finally knew why the 5 clans had offered their fundamental treasures to find someone. Also, it wasn't because of their dead members. They wanted the Power Upanishad symbol tower. The entire Sea of Annihilation was boiling. Deep under the sea, Ming Hao had turned into a brutal soul that looked like a monster dragon, pulling Audrey's soul lotus throne and heading in a direction. The Godlord and Ming Hao followed them close behind. Shi Yin and Meiji shared the same light cage protection. They moved behind, but didn't go close to the others. Inside the light protection, a water drop-shaped pendant that lay on her milky chest suddenly murmured like running water. Meiji frowned and her slender finger poked the jade pendant, dipping it into her soft flesh, which emphasized her ample breasts even more. Meiji's attractive face gradually filled with black clouds as she listened to the report sent through the jade pendant, her eyes downcast. "What happened?" asked Shi Yin. Meiji's face was abnormal. She took a deep breath and frowned, moved close to them. "They should know something too. Are you serious?" Shi Yin recognized that something was wrong and pulled a solemn face. Meiji nodded with a bitter smile. Shi Yin didn't say more. The light cage accelerated like a shooting star and stopped Audrey, Ming Hao, and the Godlord. "Hold on for a while. There's trouble." Audrey, Ming Hao, and the Godlord slowed down and looked at them in surprise as they didn't know what had happened. The mysterious Sky Clan, Devouring Clan, Soul Clan, Black Demon Clan, and Ancient Monster Clan have promised big rewards for any warrior in the Sea of Annihilation who could provide the information about us. Neptune even has Shi Yan's portrait. I don't know how he did that. Meiji knitted her brows. Also, I don't know why they know about the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the absolute beginning original symbol. Right now, the entire Sea of Annihilation is seething. Every clan on the surface and undersea was notified. The warriors of the entire Sea of Annihilation are searching for us. Hearing her, the others discolored in fear. They knew how fatal this was. How many warriors are in this Sea of Annihilation? How many experts do they have? The Godlord didn't know much about this place. He hadn't recognized the seriousness of this news. Probably tens of millions. Of course, most of them are low-realm warriors at King God Realm and below. There are around dozens of thousands of original God Realm and incipient God Realm experts. I guess we have several thousand warriors at the Immortal Realm. As far as I know, in addition to Neptune, we have 4 Territory Ancestor Realm experts here. The Godlord smacked his lips and said nothing. Well, it isn't just about the number of experts. After the things about the Power Upanishad symbol tower spread out, more and more experts will come here. The ones working around here will come and rob the place if they have confidence. Meiji forced a smile. Is the Power Upanishad symbol tower really that precious? Ming Hao turned to Ming Hong. Ming Hao arranged his thoughts and then said, among the 7 great clan, no clan has ever had a complete Power Upanishad symbol tower. The absolute beginning original symbol refined by the Power Upanishad symbol tower is a great help to the Territory Ancestors. Sometimes, the Territory Ancestors find it hard to perceive the ultimate Power Upanishad. It could take up to dozens of thousands of years without discovering a clue. However, the absolute beginning original symbol can solve this problem to increase the power of the Territory Ancestor. Although it costs an enormous amount of material, like as much as an entire territory's worth, it will be much more worthy and practical than searching for dozens of thousands of years without a result. In this vast sea of stars, we can't count the number of the territories. Each of the 7 great clans controls dozens of territories. To them, the territories aren't really precious. They can sacrifice territory when they need to. Listening to Ming Hong, the Godlord and Ming Hao turned to Shi Yin with desire. At this moment, they were so regretful that they hadn't taken action to let Shi Yin take the absolute beginning original symbol and the Power Upanishad symbol tower. If you guys can collect enough materials to refine the absolute beginning original symbol by killing an entire territory to gather the slaves cultivating the same Power Upanishad, I will consider fulfilling your wish of having an absolute beginning original symbol. Shi Yin had to comfort them when he saw their eyes. He was afraid that they would make rash decisions now. It's not a burden to me to kill creatures in a territory. You have to remember what you've promised today, said the Godlord. Ming Hao pondered for a while, and then smiled at Shi Yin for the first time. He bowed to Shi Yin. Master, please help and fulfill my wish. Shi Yin sneered inwardly. He thought, when I get strong enough, who will care if you are alive or dead? Even if I help you, I will make you pay a bloody price. With that thought, he said quietly, we need to dodge this culpa, and then we will discuss this. How long is it from our location to desolate territory? Asked Audrey. Ming Hong didn't answer. He considered the distance and then said, at our speed, it will take 2 or 3 more years. The water pressure in the Sea of Annihilation is really terrifying. If we teleport, we will break our souls. Thus, Ming Hao can't help us with this. If we move on the surface, we'll encounter a lot of enemies. It will be more troublesome. Once the territory ancestors get us, we won't be far from death. Shiyin knew that he was right. The water pressure in the Sea of Annihilation was very horrible. He didn't dare to tear the space slit undersea. If he did that, the pressure and the turbulent space current would crush him and break him. Then we still have to move undersea. Since the seabed is much wider than the surface and the water pressure is terrible, using the soul consciousness to survey and explore is also a problem. It's good for us, though, said Meiji. From now on, we must unify and go in the same direction. Shi Yan's voice was strangely calm. From now on, we will kill everyone in our way. It doesn't matter who they are. Otherwise, when the experts find out location, trouble will come unceasingly until we die. Agreed, said the God Lord with an icy cold face. Agreed. Ming Hao nodded indifferently. Understood, nodded Audrey. People then turned to Meiji. Meiji's face was ashen. If we encounter the member of our phantom clan or my good friends, you'll die now, or you'll watch them die later. Choose yourself, Ming Hao told Meiji, but his eyes were gazing at Shi Yan. The Godlord, Audrey, and Ming Hong also looked at Shi Yan. Because Shi Yan had suggested killing all the warriors in their way, and Meiji was also the one he wanted to protect. Shi Yan nodded and said to Meiji, make up your mind, please. I have to be heartless now. I will kill you now, right here if you disagree with this. Okay, I agree. Meiji felt so chilled. When she got a hold of herself, she hurried to agree. She saw thick, murderous intentions in his eyes. Chapter 1440, Wantonly Massacre. Chapter 1440, Wantonly Massacre. Underscore a corner of the Sea of Annihilation seabed. 3 massive submarines that were like shuttles made of seashells were moving at a normal speed undersea. This kind of special submarine was made of seashells and specially designed for races living undersea. Different from the terrestrial races, most of the creatures living on the Sea of Annihilation seabed could endure the terrifying water pressure, so they could move deeper undersea. The immensely vast Sea of Annihilation seabed was much bigger than the surface. It was so suitable for underwater creatures to live. Because of this reason, many clans that loved to live in the sea had relocated and dwelled in the Sea of Annihilation. The population of underwater creatures was much larger than the high-level living beings on the surface. The interior of the 3 submarines was magnificent with pearls, crystals, and precious gemstones. Even the bubbles there were glowing in 5-colored halos. Around 10 members of the Sea Clan had tentacles on the heads, scales on the necks, and antennae on the mouth. They didn't look similar. Anyway, they were drinking and enjoying inside the submarines, talking loudly. Some beautiful Sea Clan female attendants were moving around the submarines and serving the warriors. Sir, the superiority continuously gives orders to us and asks us to pay attention. I heard that the 5 clans have promised big rewards to find someone. What happened? Asked one of the Sea Clan men who was embracing a sexy lady. Some young warriors of the 5 clans had come undersea to find the absolute beginning vestige. Someone killed them all. Their seniors were enraged. They want to find the murderers. Haha, pay attention, guys. If we're lucky enough to see or catch something, we'll be filthy rich. The leader grinned and pointed at a blue crystal ball. Shi Yan's portrait slowly emerged in the ball. This man. The entire Sea of Annihilation is searching for him. I don't know the details, but he'll be dead, certainly. Too many eyes are seeking for him. Yeah, that's why so many strangers have trespassed our territory recently. They run around like mad dogs. We thought that a great war was about to take place. It turns out they're just finding a guy. Aren't they trying to make a scene anyway? Only the ghosts know. Anyway, the entire Sea of Annihilation is chaotic now. I don't know the real reasons either. Thump, thump, thump. All of a sudden, this splendid conch-shaped submarine was filled with drumbeats from a round drum that hung on the wall. No one beat it. Thump, thump, thump. The other two submarines had the same round drums. At the same time, they were all sounding vehemently. Many members of the Sea Clan with different shapes came from the cabins, looking baffled. The spirit sound receiving drum won't thump without reason. The three drums are resounding at the same time. There must be an experts around. One of them cried. This sea territory I isolated. Not many people visit here. Who are the intruders? Only the ghosts know. The people on the surface are crazy. They're trying to find someone. I guess they're intruding us again. It's so damn annoying. Guys, watch out. Those Sea Clan members screamed. The three submarines gathered as they stopped drinking. Humans. Strong aura. Thick, murderous intention. Are we bumping into them? Abruptly, everyone's heart was palpitating restlessly. They could feel heavy pressure coming from everywhere. A figure with two crimson eyes appeared in front of them all of a sudden. He looked like a bloodthirsty beast with a ruthless appearance. He flung his hand, and a massive, toothed starlight saber grumblingly slashed down. The toothed saber was hundreds of meters long and as wide as a door. It carried the flood of starlight, subduing all the crew members of the Sea Clan in just a blink of an eye. Crack, crack, crack. The three submarines were halved into 6 pieces. Around 10 warriors were halved too. Without giving the others time to counterattack, the attacker had wildly dashed over and slaughtered. It's him. He's the one that the 5 clans wants. Rich. We're gonna be rich. As long as we send the news, we'll be filthy rich. Ha ha ha. Guys, scatter and run. Spread out this news. We can receive the rewards from the 5 clans soon. The Sea Clan clansmen didn't want to fight with their lives. As soon as they recognized the attacker was the one the 5 clans had wanted, they laughed insanely and scattered. Like a bunch of mere people, they swam in different directions. More shadows appeared and stood in their ways. One of them was radiating dazzling sunlight. Another one had countless clones. A woman had thousands of brutal souls circling and dancing. Another woman had already released a sealing icy energy. They appeared out of nowhere, blocked the Sea Clan warriors, and began to attack fatally. The members of the Sea Clan screamed and shrieked. Their blood dyed the entire sea territory red. Their heads and cut limbs floated in the sea water, which was a horrible scene to see. Under their attacks, no one from the 3 submarines could escape. No one had the chance to spread the information. After the others had killed them all, they skillfully gathered the bodies and cut limbs, bringing them together with the 3 submarines to another deeper area and burying them under a coral reef. Shortly after, the blood-dyed area got diluted. The area returned to its normal condition. Inside a spacious, splendid crystal palace undersea, sat a malicious-looking old man from the Sea Clan on a fulgent, transparent shell. With a solemn expression, he said in a low-pitched voice, "How many crews did we lose right now?" A middle-aged Sea Clan man was on one knee in front of him. He frowned and said respectfully, 9. We've lost contact with them for 3 days. If nothing unexpected, I'm afraid they're not in a good situation. Who did that? The old man pulled a cold visage. Any commotion from our enemy? Nothing. They don't have any strange commotion. The other contemplated and then said, Is that someone from the surface? Recently, many people have come to the seabed to search for the guy named Yin. For the Power Upanishad symbol tower and the rewards from the 5 clans, they are all crazy. Not them. They know it's our territory here. Even if they're from the 5 clans, they don't dare to provoke us. Snorted the old man. Tribal oldie, someone is here to see you, came a hurried voice from the outside. No need for a notification. I'm here. Long time no see, old friend. It has been 1,000 years, yet it seemed like it was just a blink of an eye. Neptune was sitting on so many souls. He glided into the crystal palace until he stopped in front of the old man. Emperor Sea Shark, long time no see. I'm here today to ask you for a favor. This old man was one of the strongest lords of the sea, Emperor Sea Shark. He was also the terrifying existence that the 7 great clans didn't dare to challenge. He was a territory ancestor realm expert. Turns out it's you. Emperor Sea Shark waved his hand to dismiss the guard, then snorted. Because of you terrestrial warriors, 9 crews of my clan were killed. Still, you dare to come see me? That has nothing to do with me. Neptune shook his head. Someone has tricked you. Old Shark, I know your influence on this seabed. Help me find someone. Now, I'm sure that there's not only one murderer. Meiji of the Phantom Clan is in that group too. You ask your guards to notice that. If you find them, I will reward generously. The heavenly soul bead you'd refined? Emperor Sea Shark didn't bat an eye. It's not rare to me. Of course, I know the heavenly soul beads can attract you. Old Shark, I promise you that if you can find them, when the Soul Clan gets the Power Upanishad symbol tower, bring us the materials, we will refine an absolute beginning original symbol for you. Neptune promised. Emperor Sea Shark was moved. Pondering for a while, he said, Are you sure it's a complete Power Upanishad symbol tower? Well, a Power Upanishad symbol tower that is taken. You ask, is it a complete one? Neptune looked stern. Our Soul Clan has been working on it for hundreds of years. That area is mysterious with layers of illusions and barriers. No one could approach it before. That's why your Sea Clan didn't know about it. In the recent dozen years, many barriers and seals wore out. We finally located it. I just went there myself. The Power Upanishad symbol tower is taken. It's true. Emperor Sea Shark was moved. He agreed. All right, I will order my subordinates to search thoroughly. Haha, with your support, no one can rob the Power Upanishad symbol tower from our Soul Clan, laughed Neptune. A corner of the seabed. Many bodies were buried. They were the warriors came down here from the surface. After they were killed, it was simpler to treat their dead bodies. Shi Yin was panting, his eyes red as if blood was about to drip from them. The bloodthirsty, ruthless aura on him had become thicker. He doesn't look okay, said Ming Hong. Audrey and Ming Hao were dealing with many dead bodies. They were astounded when they heard that. Ming Hao, you'd been with Bloodthirsty for many years. Can you see something? Ming Hong pondered for a while and then said, Recently, we've been killing a lot of warriors in our way. He's always pioneering, killing too many people and swallowing their soul altars and essence chi. He doesn't have time to rest and digest. I think he's overloaded. The negative emotions will backfire him. If he continues this way, he will lose his mind and it will mean trouble. Ming Hao kept silent. Since Shi Yin had decided to begin their massacre along the way, they had killed at least hundreds of warriors. After killing each group of warriors, they would clean the scene, leaving no trace for the others to track them down. They didn't have a moment to rest. Shi Yin could sense the danger. On the way, he had greedily used the devouring power Upanishad to swallow a lot of energy. However, he couldn't have enough time to refine and stabilize his mind. Currently, his negative aura had thickened. His garnet eyes hadn't recovered for a long time. The energy fluctuating from him had become abnormal. When we besieged and killed Bloodthirsty at the end, he looked like Shi Yin now. He had completely lost his mind, intervened the God Lord. He had become absolutely crazy and turned into a killing beast. He had devoured all the time and didn't stop to refine the energy. His soul altar backfired. It's the main reason why we could finish him. Shi Yan's situation now is very similar to Bloodthirsty that year. Hearing him say so, everybody became insecure and stern. Because once Shi Yin burst out a rampage, the ones who were near him were going to be affected first. As his partners, they would have to swallow the terrible consequence first. Chapter 1441. Part and Take Action. Chapter 1441. Part and Take Action. Underso the seabed was magnificent with blue, 5-colored reefs everywhere. Crimson, crystal corals grew from them. The unknown, marine plants were jutting their tentacle-like leaves and swaying in the water. The scene was mesmerizingly beautiful. The thick blood diluted and dispersed. So many light caves were like eggs covering some warriors and gathering by a coral reef. 3 eels slowly passed them as they didn't know that this place was a bloody battlefield 15 minutes ago. We can't continue this way. This kid will go crazy. We must find a safe area to rest, said Ming Hong from Audrey's shoulder. Of course, we got a better solution anyway. What method? Audrey's eyes brightened. Leave him behind as bait. We can leave this place easily. He's their target, anyway. Once he bursts out crazily, he will attract everybody as they will want to kill him. And we can return to the territory entrance with no rush. What do you think? While he was talking, Ming Hong's eyes were sparkling as he had to watch Audrey, the Godlord, Ming Hao, and Shi Yin, who was standing in the distance. Currently, Shi Yin was standing with Meiji a distance away from the others. Meiji didn't trust them, so she chose to stick with Shi Yin. Moreover, Ming Hong had tried to lower his voice. He believed that Shi Yin and Meiji over there couldn't hear him. That's why he suggested such a solution. No, Audrey objected. She almost had no hesitation. Why not? Ming Hong frowned. Audrey was bewildered and thinking. Her bright eyes sparkled. He saved me. In the sea domain of nihility, without his protection, I would have died a long time ago. I came here with him. If we leave, we have to leave together. I will never leave him behind. Ming Hong pouted his lips. Women, you lose your mind when talking about love. No, it's not like what you think, Audrey retorted, her voice weak and her face panic-stricken. Do I like him? She whispered to herself. How about you too? Asked Ming Hong. If he didn't have the power Upanishad symbol tower, I wouldn't care whether he lives or dies. You said the tower is so precious. He has it still. For the absolute beginning original symbol, I have to put up with him then. The Godlord sounded calm and natural, shrugging. If there is a dangerous situation that can affect my life, of course, I will flee. Protecting myself is the most important task to me. How about you? Let's watch for a while more. Ming Hao looked complicated. Shi Yin had the title of the Bloodthirsty Forces Master. As one of the members of the Cortege of 8, Ming Hao had to serve him dedicatedly. Even if he didn't have the power Upanishad symbol tower, on principle, he had to protect Shi Yin. He knew Shi Yin carried bloodthirsty's expectation and will. And now, Shi Yin had the power Upanishad symbol tower and dark energy. He'd reached the immortal realm too. Gradually, Ming Hao recognized that he needed Shi Yin somehow. It was going to be hard to ditch him here. If you guys decide to go with him for a while more, you guys better find a solution. When he bursts out, we're the first ones who will have to endure it, said Ming Hong. The other 3 nodded. I'm going to talk to him. Ming Hao pondered for a while and then spoke. She started walking towards Shi Yin. Almost at the same time, Shi Yin with his 2 red eyes were striding toward them. Ming Hao and the Godlord were much surprised. They stopped and waited for him skeptically. Shi Yin was pacing to them, thick blood scent hovering around him. The murderous aura was visible like blood flames, layering and shrouding his entire body. Even his long hair looked like it was burning. Blood flames splashed under his every step. His crimson eyes seemed to drip blood at any minute. They were so soul-taking to see. He looked like he had been soaking in blood. What a powerful negative energy field. If this field expands, not only will he lose his mind, but all the creatures around will also go crazy. Ming Hong screamed in fear. Audrey's beautiful face looked aghast. She had noticed that while Shi Yin was moving, not far from him, thousands of fish had become wild, attacking and biting each other. The most ordinary fish was now flesh-eating fish. It was a horrible scene indeed. As Shi Yan's steps arose, her blood seemed to run faster. Shortly, she felt like she was watching an endless sea of blood. She wanted to kill. The more he killed, the thicker the energy from the soul altars and the dead essence chi he had taken and became. This field will become more formidable. The Godlord wore a stern face. I'd experienced this. When Bloodthirsty died, his negative energy field expanded. Our people had attacked each other for more than 10 days. So many people were killed. Ming Hong was more restless hearing him. Shi Yan's move had startled Meiji too. She stood up and prepared to come close to see. However, as she was around 10 steps away from Shi Yin, Meiji felt her blood burn. The thick smell of blood attacked her nostrils. She could even see bloodstains on her body. Meiji had mastered the soul technique, and she had a profound understanding of the mysterious and yet magical features of the souls. Immediately, she recognized that the negative energy fluctuations from him carried some horrible, evil mind technique. It could even affect her. She knew many people would lose their minds under such effects. I think you can see that my situation isn't good now. Yin stopped when he was 10 steps away from Audrey and Ming Hao. Yin, how are you? Audrey asked hurriedly. Over my endurance, Yan's eyes were still crimson. From Ganfu to Telika, Yerberg, Farlow, the guards of the mysterious Sky Clan, Batum, and I haven't stopped to refine the energy or rest. Constant killing gives me more soul altars and energy from hundreds of warriors. Contemplating for a while, he said slowly, the black hole and the acupuncture points in my body are like a big avenue. Getting so many things on the road, it feels like a delicate weapon receiving too many different kinds of energy. Things couldn't move. So, the refining speed is getting slower. Until now, I haven't even digested Ganfu's energy yet. The negative energy is invading me. They're excessive already. They will reach my head and burst out soon. His explanation was simple to understand. The others understood with heavy visages. He hadn't even digested Ganfu's energy, the first thing he had. The situation seemed really serious. With this tendency, negative energies was going to conquer him. He was going to turn into a bloodthirsty beast and lose his mind completely until he'd consumed all of his energy and died. What do you want to tell us? Ming Hao considered his words. I need time to adjust my abnormal condition, but I understand that if we linger in an area, those we have killed will become the mark that shows our whereabouts. Yin continuously took deep breaths to keep his mind sound. You guys should continue the journey to the territory entrance. Kill people in your way. The ones you kill will become the trace so that others could track you. You can distract them for a while. Meiji and I will leave now. We will part, and I will take the chance to adjust my abnormal conditions. You want us to be the bait so you could have more time, sneered the God Lord. Without us, you're still going to the territory entrance, aren't you? Yin wasn't mad. Moreover, I know that they are certain about Meiji and me. They don't know your existences yet. Thus, you're safe. Even if someone catches you, they don't know you're their target. What I want you to do is to kill them, whether they know who you are or not. If people keep disappearing in a specific area, it will attract concerned people. They will think that we are there. He's right, Ming Hong nodded. They want to find Yin and that native woman. They don't know about us. We have to go to the territory entrance anyway. We will continue to kill people in our way to draw attention. It's much better than sticking with him. Once he loses his mind, it will be big trouble to us. Yeah, Ming Hao agreed with him. Why do you want to take Meiji with you? You trust her? Audrey wore a cold face. I will go with you. No, screamed Ming Hao and Ming Hong at the same time. If she went with Yin, there was a big possibility that something bad would happen to her. Perhaps insane Yin would kill her before the others could find them. Ming Hao and Ming Hong had considered Audrey as the future of Imperial Dark Tribe. Of course, they weren't going to let it happen. Carve the location of the territory entrance on my heavenly fantasy star compass for me. Perhaps we can reunite on the way. Even if we can't meet, as long as I'm safe, I can return to desolate territory through the entrance. Yin handed the compass to Ming Hong. Ming Hong didn't think much and immediately carved the location on the compass with a special note read, entrance to desolate territory. When Yin had it back, his soul consciousness had checked and he received the precise location of the desolate territory's entrance. Take care, he turned to the other three, turning into a jet of light and zooming away. On his way, he grabbed Meiji and disappeared into the far sea area. I'm going with you, Audrey screamed. Ming Hong and Ming Hao stopped her from taking risks. Don't go. We will see him later, hissed Ming Hong. He won't get hurt easily. If something bad happens, it will happen to that woman. Ming Hao's eyes sparkled strangely as if he knew what Yin had in his mind. Don't worry. He has a way to solve his problem fast. This kid has been swaggering in our desolate territory for many years. He's used the devouring power Upanishad smoothly. He won't kill himself. Oh, what did he do to stabilize his condition? Said Audrey. Minghao laughed evilly. He has his methods anyway. Don't worry. This kid knows how to behave. As long as we kill more people in our way and draw the focus to us, he can have more time to steady his mind. He will catch up with us soon, perhaps. Chapter 1442, Bewitch. Chapter 1442, Bewitch. Underscore 18 plus. Meiji was secretly happy. Shi Yin brought her to the remote sea area and separated them from the others. She wasn't worried. Shi Yin had chosen her instead of Audrey. This decision made her happy physically and mentally. The starlight layers twirled around them. Inside the splendid starlight cage, Meiji felt cozy as she leaned against Shi Yin, her thighs placed against his. She giggled. Actually, you don't need to hurry to get back to desolate territory. It's true that the other 5 clans are finding you, but our Phantom Clan and White Bone Clan aren't. Shi Yin panted and frowned, his eyes red. What do you want to say? If you want, our Phantom Clan will accommodate you. We can quietly return to the Phantom Clan's headquarters. I believe that with the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower, the Phantom Clan will consider you as the most distinguished guest. Don't worry. I know some secret channels. We can avoid a lot of experts, instigated Meiji. If I reach the territory Ancestor Realm, I can go to your clan freely. I can go with you now, in fact. But now, Shi Yin shook his head. Meiji was bewildered, but she understood right away. You're worrying that we might trouble you? At this moment, I don't trust anyone but myself. According to you, the Power Upanishad Symbol Tower is so precious. Anyone from the 7 great clans wouldn't show mercy when they find me. I don't think your Phantom Clan will leave me alone when they find that I'm only at first sky of a mortal realm. I'm just a piece of cake. Why would they hold back? Snorted Shi Yin. Meiji kept quiet and thought. She also thought that the elders of the Phantom Clan perhaps wouldn't give her face to solve this properly. You're right. Only when your realm is sufficient will you be able to negotiate conditions. She wasn't foolish, but as a member of the Phantom Clan, she couldn't turn her back to them just yet. What did you say to them before we parted? Why did we have to part? She asked again. Shi Yin looked her deep in the eyes. His eyes flared up, which made Meiji shiver unknowingly. The light from his eyes was invasive, making Meiji uneasy. He didn't answer. Meiji didn't chase him. She had an intuition that it would be somehow related to her. She could feel clearly that Shi Yin was hesitant. He seemed to struggle to make a decision. And it was true. Because of his greed, he had let the devouring power Upanishad swallow as much as he pleased, which made his soul and body annoyed and unstable. He was used to experiencing this. When he had been in such a condition, he had to vent it out. It was a way he knew that would work all the time. Today, he had to think about it again. He had 2 options, Audrey and Meiji. He soon made up his mind. He would use Meiji as his tool. As Minghong and Minghao were all here, especially the brutal soul Minghong, he couldn't get over this challenge. He had to give her a pass. Meiji was his only choice then. But even if it was Meiji, Shi Yin felt a little troublesome if he forced her to have sex with him just to cure his soul and body. He had another option, though. In this short time, if he found some female warriors, he could capture them to release his stress. This time, his condition was really unstable and abnormal. From his previous experiences, he had swallowed 2 mini soul altars and essence chi. His body could hardly endure for a long time. The females who had intercourse with him could receive great benefits, the mysterious energy that refined the body and even the soul altar. Ahead of them was an undersea rock forest. The rock columns were strange and peculiar. They seemed to be made of some 5-colored crystal, which was emitting spectacular, dazzling halos. Shi Yin observed the forest from a distance. He found that it was really vast, around hundreds of miles. It could make a good shelter, though. He released his soul consciousness and used the space power Upanishad to scout around. A few seconds later, he retrieved the soul consciousness and he dashed toward the rock forest. He hollowed a massive rock column and then took Meiji inside. Meiji's charming body was skeptical. She tried to know what he wanted from his strange deeds. She came to think that he wanted to cultivate here. The rock column was like a massive tree trunk. After he had hollowed it, it became a small jade chamber that could lodge 3 to 5 people. Shi Yin set up a space barrier to seal the entrance. Then, he made another one to seal their auras to prevent others from spotting them. You want to concentrate on cultivating? Don't worry. I got your back. When someone comes, I'll notify you, said Meiji naturally. However, Shi Yin only looked at her. He didn't sit down cross-legged. His red eyes became hotter. Hey, Meiji felt insecure. I want you. Pondering for a while, Shi Yin said. His simple words conveyed a terrifying meaning. Your body can cure me of my current problem. I need your body to vent out the negative energy. Censored. Meiji's body shivered. She was terrified, and she hurried back to the jade wall. Her charming body was aghast. You. What did you say? Do you know what situation we are in? Even if you desire my body, you should find some other excuse. It's not the right time. Under Shi Yan's hot, explicit gaze, Meiji retreated and slumped. She was horror-struck. I'm not kidding. Shi Yan's breathing was short and rapid. He realized that when he finally decided to use this method, Meiji's attractiveness to him had increased several times. The flame of desire in the bottom of his heart was ignited. There was no way to press it down. At this moment, Meiji was wearing a tight, strawberry, long dress. It perfectly outlined her perfect body with hot curves and ample breasts. Her succulent red lips were so sexy. Her charming beauty made Shi Yin gulp as he suddenly felt his dry throat. Explain yourself. Meiji screamed hoarsely, her butt sticking on the jade wall and her charming face discolored. I cultivate devouring power Upanishad. Shi Yin explained quickly about the side effects of the devouring power Upanishad. He had pressed the effects of the negative energies and how the refined energy could help women who had experienced sexual intercourse with him. It's good for you anyway. You won't bear a loss. I still have other options. What other options? Meiji was surprised. I can choose to do it with any woman, but I have to kill them after that. I won't disclose my location. Anyway, if that happens, I have to consume some energy, which should be precious for refining the body or for transforming. Shi Yin said in a low voice. Besides these things, is there anything else that made you choose me? If you can bring benefits to your partner, why wouldn't you choose Audrey? Meiji gritted her teeth and blushed. She felt that her body was very soft. Waves of heat attacked her as she felt a strange joy. I want you. You're beautiful and you know enchanting techniques. You can give me pleasure that nothing can compare to, roared Shi Yin. It seemed like a beast was about to jump out of his body, his face ferocious. If I'm not wrong, you're saying that I'm prettier than her? Compared to her, I can satisfy you better and you fell for me? Meiji thinned her lips. She couldn't help but lick her lips, her eyes filled with romantic thoughts. Yeah, it's true. Are you happy now? Hissed Shi Yin. I am. Meiji smiled charmingly, her eyes watery. Well, considering your correct answer, The strawberry fabric slid down her curves, revealing a white, hot body. It was the sort of soft and curvy body of a mature woman that could drive any man crazy. As Shi Yin was a man, he was enchanted too. Shi Yin roared like a beast and jumped on her sexy body. He tore the long dress she hadn't taken off yet into pieces. His big mouth began to nibble and suck her breathtaking, heavy, milky breasts. Meiji's moaning could make even her bones soft. She felt so hot as she tried to squeeze her straight legs together. She felt embarrassed when she felt her lower body become damp. Shortly after, she recalled the memory when they were on the Skull Island when Shi Yin had done something at her private area. She began to melt. Shi Yan's clothes became rags instantly. His vigorous, muscular body was exposed. His body looked like it was molded out of iron with attractive, masculine features. Meiji eyed him, her watery eyes strange. She bit her lower lip. Her heart seemed to be on fire. Although she had cultivated the seducing technique in the clan, she had never been with a man. Looking at Shi Yan's majestic body, she felt that she couldn't hold herself together. His snow-white body blushed beautifully. She was aroused. Please me. Use the enchanting technique of your phantom clan. Yin grinned, his body straight like a long lance. His big hand slapped her round butt cheeks, making them bounce mesmerizingly. You know how. Meiji's beautiful eyes were so seducing as she embarrassedly cried in pain. When I grew up, I used to learn the techniques, but I haven't used them before. I guess it won't be that smooth. Then, she slowly squatted in front of him, her long hair draping on her waist and her round rear end thrusting out. Her slender fingers wrapped around his member as she brought her succulent red lips toward. Yin took a deep breath. He felt all his pores open. An unimaginable pleasure struck him. He thought that he was going to explode soon. At this moment, he deeply understood the compliments people gave the phantom women. Each of the phantom women was a sexy treasure, an endless sweet dream for men. Meiji shoved her head between his thought, sitting on her heels and showing her pretty backside. Her tongue was moving. Sometimes, she wiped her dangling hair and lifted her face to throw him a seducing glance. Her eyes had bewitched Yan's soul. Chapter 1443, Mistakenly Hit. Chapter 1443, Mistakenly Hit. Understood it was an area on the seabed with many strange-shaped rocks growing from the ground like a forest. Many unknown fishes were swimming around. The 5-colored rocks jutted from the seabed like colossal columns and released splendid halos. They looked magnificent and mysterious at the same time. This rock forest was a spectacular scene undersea. Phew. So many figures inside the light protection came into the rock forest. They were 7 beefy, male warriors of the ancient monster clan. They had a lot of fur covering their body. Although their faces were clean, they looked ugly and fearsome. Each of their light cages confined a beautiful sea clan female. The 7 females were dying. Their clothes were torn, and they had clear marks of whips on their bodies. The 7 ancient monster men glided through the rock forest and found a place to rest. The leader of this group was a muscular, tall, middle-aged man, his tiger eyes lewd. He placed the Sea Clan woman inside his light cage against a rock column and babbled, "Slutty Meiji, I'm going to kill you. I'll do you until you die." He imagined that the Sea Clan woman under his body was Meiji. Apparently, he had a big desire for her. This man was called Hussein, an expert at Third Sky of Immortal Realm from the ancient monster clan. He was Yerburga's cousin. He was the leader of the ancient monster clan in the Sea of Annihilation. After Hussein was sent to the Sea of Annihilation, he was enchanted as soon as he saw Meiji. He had come to the Phantom Clan's island several times to try to show his affection for Meiji. Unfortunately, he was at Third Sky of Immortal Realm, which was 1 level lower than Meiji at Peak of Immortal Realm. Meiji had provoked and mocked him many times. He had even asked the ancient monster clan to ask the Phantom Clan to let him marry her. Through their marriage, the relationship between the ancient monster clan and the Phantom Clan would be tightened. Of course, it was just an excuse. He wanted to have Meiji, that was the main reason. The Phantom Clan had actually considered this. Then, Batum saw Meiji and began to chase after her fiercely. Immediately, Hussein's light was shadowed. Since Batum was about to enter territory Ancestor Realm, he was much more critical than Hussein. After the Phantom Clan had considered many aspects, they decided to choose Batum and reject Hussein. It was Hussein's eternal pain. Afterward, whenever he saw Meiji in the Sea of Annihilation, he couldn't say even a nice word to talk to her. He had purposely rumored that Meiji was a slut and that she had affairs with so many men. Because of his ill-talking, Meiji had personally come to the ancient monster clan's base in the Sea of Annihilation and bit him hard. He had bled terribly at that time. After that, the ancient monster clan and the Phantom Clan had caused grudges against each other. Hussein had behaved for a long time. He didn't dare to trouble Meiji anymore. They said that he kept around 10 female slaves, who looked somewhat similar to Meiji. He used them to vent out his anger and desire for Meiji. Also, rumors said that those female slaves were tortured to death. This time, Hussein had received orders from his superiority, so he took his henchmen to the seabed to find Yin and Meiji. He had volunteered to find the Power Upanishad symbol tower. The real hotshot of the ancient monster clan was about to come to the Sea of Annihilation. He had contacted Hussein and asked him to locate Shiryan's direction. Through his channel, Hussein knew that many people had gone missing in the sea area that belonged to Emperor Sea Shark. He got an idea, so he came to check. After several days of searching, he got nothing. Gradually, he became irritated and annoyed. Currently, he found some beautiful women of the Sea Clan who were wandering around. His lewd feature arose. He thought that the seabed was chaotic just then, so if he killed some Sea Clan women, no one could detect him. He then abducted them and brought them to this rock forest to play his lewd games. Those women didn't have high realms. Most of them were at true god realm, so they couldn't endure harsh intercourse for a long time. After those immortal realm experts had played with them for a while, they all died. Shortly after, while Hussein was yelling Meiji's name, the Sea Clan woman under his body stopped breathing anymore, her body full of bruises and wounds. At his critical moment, the young woman died. The cold and stiff body irritated him. He became foul-mouthed and he punched through the woman's chest. Then, he threw her away. Rumble. The Sea Clan woman bumped into a massive yellow rock column. A wave of space energy rippled from that rock column, and the entire column radiated a terrifying light. What? Hussein screamed, and then dismissed the brown light cage covering him. The water swarmed in and washed his half-naked body. He frowned, moving toward the rock column and calling, "Are you all done yet?" "I'm done. I'm done." "Sir, you're done. Even if we haven't, we have to get it done." His subordinates in the ancient monster clan weren't different from him. They laughed eccentrically while pulling up their pants. "Throw the bodies to that rock column," ordered Hussein. His warriors didn't know why, but they didn't dare to not obey him. They forcefully flung the naked bodies of the Sea Clan women, who they had just tortured to death, toward the column. As those bodies became a mess of blood and flesh, the light on the rock column was clearer and space energy was rippling. What's going on? Why does this rock column have space energy? Have we just found the pieces of a divine weapon? Haha, it's our fortune. Possible. Many people who've been searching for things from the absolute beginning era often encounter nice things in a sudden incident. The savage warriors of the ancient monster clan were stirred up. They didn't bat an eye on the crushed bodies of the Sea Clan women. They surrounded the rock column that had released space energy. Be careful. If it's really treasure, we can't afford to break it further. We have to dig it out slowly, Hussein said to his warriors. He was also excited and thought, it's God's will. Haha, even when I'm playing with those slutty women, I find the absolute beginning treasures. That slut Meiji didn't choose me. Sooner or later, I'll shower her what she has to face. Sir, let me try. I'm cultivating water power Upanishad, which is gentle and supple. I will be very careful. What do you think? Asked a big-headed man. Hussein nodded. Be careful. If you damage the treasure, I'll cut your penis. Don't worry, sir. The man winced, gingerly walked to the column. He had only first sky of a mortal realm, though. He placed 2 hands on the rock column, sending out 2 cold, blue water currents. The god power from the water slowly seeped into the rock column and tried to see the situation inside. Boom! A brutal, frenzy, bloodthirsty, and heartless aura blasted like a flood current. It moved against his current of god power and entered his brain. Instantly, the warrior was filled with restless and angry feelings. He wanted to kill all creatures around. He roared kill as his energy rocketed like a varmint. He turned around all of a sudden, gliding to the nearest warrior. The rapid water arrows shot out from his chest and exploded grumblingly. As the other was focusing on observing the rock column, he got hit without being able to duck. Thud. The light cage protecting this man shattered as though it was made of glass. The water arrow pierced through his chest. The others could hear his bones crack. He spurted blood. Dark. You motherf asterisk cur. You're crazy, thundered Hussein. He's really crazy. The beefy man of the ancient monster clan called Dark had the rapid water twirling around him, turning into so many water arrows and shooting everywhere. The warriors from the ancient monster clan screamed and scattered. They all saw the other abnormal condition. "It's because of that rock column," cried someone. "Seize him. Let me control him," Hussein yelled. The wounded man had a dent on his chest. Blood oozed from the corners of his mouth as he was blown backward, breaking some rock column by his back. He looked ashen afterward. Aside from Hussein, the warriors of the ancient monster clan were attacking furiously as if they didn't care if they could hurt Dark. They quickly attacked him to the point he was dying, then tied him up. "Wake him up," said Hussein. A warrior with a cold face sent a wisp of cold soul consciousness into Dark's head. Dark shook violently, and then his eyes looked lucid. He pointed at the rock column as if he had encountered spooky ghosts. "It's not good there. Strong killing intention. It can seep into the sea of consciousness fast. It should be some evil treasures inside. Guys, you have to be careful." "Then we have to break this column first," Hussein pondered and spoke with a cold face. "Let me do that," said another warrior. As soon as he urged his power Upanishad, a sharp metal blade appeared. It was like a dazzling gold sword as it hacked down on the stone column. Crack, crack, fire sparked. So many space sabers shot out from inside the column, disorderly cutting everywhere. The warriors of the ancient monster clan had to duck with frightened faces. "Damn, why is there a space barrier?" No, someone is in there. I can feel the aura of living beings. Although it was just a flash, I'm sure someone is there," screamed the man who had wounded by Dark. He suddenly screamed while staying away from the scene to rest. "Right, someone is inside the column." Hussein was shocked. When the space sabers shot out, he could feel a familiar aura. That aura came out with some erotic smell that made him baffled. "Break it. Do your best," shouted Hussein. "Yes, sir." The warriors of the ancient monster clan attacked at the same time. The lights of the divine weapons, waterfalls, mountain, and water hit the column at the same time. As many energies from the power Upanishads and the secret treasures were attacking at the same time, the space barrier inside the rock column couldn't stand it anymore. Hussein then saw the rock column explode. Hussein gawked at the scene after the column had broken. He felt like someone had just hit him hard in his chest. His blood churned as he almost vomited. Chapter 1444, Meiji's Harvest. Chapter 1444, Meiji's Harvest _ 18+. The rock column exploded and exposed two naked, twisting bodies. The man's body looked as beautiful as if he was carved out of marble. Each curve of his body was clear and full of exploding energy. The woman's body could be deemed perfect. She was like an exquisite masterpiece of art, which looked flawless and incomparably beautiful. At this moment, the woman was lying under the man, her blushing face glistening with sweat. They were protected inside a splendid light cage, which made Hussein's team baffled. "Meiji, it's Meiji of the Phantom Clan. That man, he's the one everybody is searching for." The two beefy men of the ancient monster clan stammered. They didn't notice Hussein's shaking body and firing eyes. Hussein looked at the other two, his wrath rising. The goddess in his heart, the amazing treasure he had dreamed for, was lying under a man, moaning and murmuring. Although he had seen just a little part of Meiji's body because Shi Yin was towering her, he could clearly see the pleasure on Meiji's face. Apparently, she was enjoying being touched and conquered. Hussein's face reddened as he felt like someone had just punched him hard in his chest. He screamed like a caged animal. "I will kill you." Starlight rippled from the cage. Suddenly, the light cage became translucent. They couldn't see the scene inside. Abruptly, Hussein transformed into a beast. The fur on his entire body rose, his bones cracking. He grew half a meter taller, for covering his face. He was screaming something unclear as he barged into the light cage. A cold feeling that was chilly to the bone came out from the light cage. Shortly, the sea water froze and created a terrifying glacier barrier. Hussein bumped into the thick ice layer. His down fell off of his body after he hit the thick ice. The ice then had many cracks. "Take action, all of you. Kill that slut for me." Hussein thundered crazily. He became frantic as if his mental disease finally burst out. He had been infatuated with Meiji for many years, but he didn't have a chance to hold her hand. He could only satisfy himself with the women whose look was similar to Meiji. Meiji used to hit him hard anyway. In his eyes, Meiji was a perfect woman on a high throne. She was too perfect to be trespassed by anyone. In front of him today, Meiji was serving a man. She gasped and moaned gently. This image had torn the perfect Meiji in his heart. He felt a hard thrust into his body and twisted, leaving so many wounds. Under such a given circumstance, he directly transformed into a beast, a special technique of the ancient monster clan that would trigger the most mysterious feature of his bloodline. He screamed and howled wildly. He had to tear Shi Yin into pieces. As soon as his subordinates saw him that way, they knew that Hussein had lost his mind. If they didn't follow him, he would kill them all. They didn't hesitate to urge their power Upanishads and strike their god power on the thick ice. Crack, crack, crack. The thick ice stood still under the bombarding. Behind the ice, two bodies inside the starlight cage were still entangled with each other like two twisting snakes. They were passionately doing the wild things. That blurry scene poked Hussein's eyes. He hated how he couldn't eat that man alive. He wanted to crush him into pieces. Ahem. A soft moaning came from Meiji's mouth and the wild movement inside the cage stopped. That man squinted slightly, wearing a cold face as he pulled out of her. He sat upright inside the light cage. He didn't mind his naked body, closing his eyes and ordering deliberately. Kill them. He acted like he was Meiji's master and could order her as he pleased. He could even force her if he wanted. Strangely, Meiji listened to him obediently. She said, softly and then took out a long coat, which covered her body from her breasts to her thighs. She showcased her shoulders, her beautiful legs, and deep cleavage and walked out of the starlight cage. Her jade-like feet stepped on the bubbles as she strolled into the thick ice layer. Meiji was like a blooming flower, her eyes watery with the colors of the spring that still showed she was thinking about her romantic experience. At this moment, her posture and appearance after enjoying the intimate things between a man and a woman could pump every man's blood faster. Poor little Hussein. Didn't I teach you enough last time? You want to court death when you come to this seabed? Who is he? Who is that damn kid? Hussein screamed wildly. His soul was about to explode because of jealousy. Meiji had never given him face. She always mocked him with the position of a superior. She had even hit him. However, she was obedient and tender to that man. It enraged him so much that he wanted to vomit blood. He's my man. Did you feel angry when you saw my man love me? Meiji grinned. Her line of sight passed Hussein. She didn't care about the flame of anger in Hussein's eyes as she beamed at the warriors of the ancient monster clan. Am I pretty? Hell yeah. Sure you are. Yes. Yes. The warriors of the ancient monster clan looked baffled. They nodded to her. Are you willing to help me do something? Meiji asked them gently. We are. They nodded to her. Kill Hussein for me. Meiji smiled charmingly. Hussein's subordinates looked like they were struggling. All of a sudden, their eyes showed their craziness. They became excited and attacked Hussein. You despicable SL*T. You dare instigate my warriors to kill me, cried Hussein. Flows of his god power congregated and created a massive silver shield. He used it to parry his subordinates. All of you will die. Meiji's voice was gentle. The thick ice in front of her cracked when she touched it. Walking out barefooted, she looked so beautiful. Her exposed skin was like crystal that shined mesmerizing light. Meiji's charming bearings had increased after her romantic affair with Shi Yin. She walked out of the ice rock, her watery eyes moving. Suddenly, she looked so thrilled. Her voluptuous body couldn't help but quiver. She turned to Shi Yin, who was closing his eyes quietly while sitting cross-legged inside the light cage, her heart filled with a joy that she couldn't explain. She just recognized that the wounds that troubled her for a long time had healed. Her god power had recovered, and it had surged and become purer. Her blood, flesh, bones, and the soul altar had all strengthened unknowingly. It seemed like a mysterious power had washed her entire body and refined her every bit of her. At this moment, she felt much better than when she went to Dragon Lizard Star. After having sex with him, the benefits she received was amazing. Not only were her body and spirit pleased, but her power also increased and her wounds recovered. She could feel her body transform too. It was unimaginable. Meiji looked at Shi Yin sitting over there, her bright eyes infatuated. She bit her lower lips and her face was aroused in a way that could make any man's heart beat frantically. She didn't even bat an eye at Hussein and the besiege of his subordinates behind her. She didn't look at Hussein, but Hussein was gazing at her. Looking at the woman with her passionate eyes fixed on another man, Hussein was flooded with jealousy. He roared hoarsely, "I have to kill him. I swear I will kill him." Finally, Meiji turned around, the charming expression disappearing from her face. She became so cold. "I will kill you first. Don't worry. If your warriors can't kill you, I will do it myself." Although they were all men, she had treated them much differently. "You have to push him further. Do all that you can to kill him." Meiji's face was cold, but her voice was soft and begging as if she could reach their hearts. Her voice echoed in the ancient monster clan warriors' heads like the voice of ghosts. They became wilder. They didn't care about their lives and urged their best attacks. The warrior who had cultivated metal power Upanishad turned into an extremely sharp blade. He parted the seawater and thrust into Hussein's shield. It looked like he was burning his life to take the energy. The shield exploded. Hussein lost his defending weapon. He had to take action. Crack! He broke his subordinate's neck and grinned. "All of you have to die." The other warriors weren't afraid of death as they stormed toward. Some of them had the flame of a soul burning in their eyes. Meiji had made them completely mad. However, their realm was lower than Hussein's. When they came to be Hussein's subordinates, Hussein knew all their weaknesses. Some even had given him their soul seal. As his rage had flooded him, Hussein couldn't control them or mind their lives. He decided to use his secretive tricks. Boom, boom, boom. 3 of their soul altars exploded. Their heads shattered like falling watermelon. Some had cracks in their chests, which expanded rapidly. Then, their bodies shattered as if they were some china that fell to the ground. Hussein resolutely took action. He didn't mind his subordinates as he killed them all. He had to consume energy, which made him very tired. At this moment, Meiji's beautiful feet appeared in his sight. "I can't believe you're that cruel. You've planted the deadly seal into your subordinates. I've underestimated you. I have no choice then. I have to take action myself." "Meiji, you can't kill me. I know you're wounded badly. Cousin Yerberg told me that you got wounded badly. Haha, I will capture you first and then that kid. I will you right in front of him. Then, I will kill you all. Haha, awesome," grinned Hussein fiendishly. "Go *CK your mother. You crossbreed." Meiji hissed through her gritted teeth. A triangular ice crystal emerged from her palm, which was generated by her god power. The ice crystal was extremely cold. Strangely, it was partly visible. Meiji was a little bewildered for a few seconds. Her body shook hard, her beautiful face disbelieving. She was almost choking on her breath as she screamed, "Dark, dark energy." Chapter 1445. Be an Obedient Woman. Chapter 1445. Be an Obedient Woman. Using her soul consciousness to check her body, Meiji found wisps of a strange energy in her sea of consciousness. They were partial visible, as if they were flickering flames that would extinguish at any minute. She urged the ice power Upanishad. Ice crystals emerged from her palms with her soul consciousness. Her soul consciousness now had some wisps of energy that could make her snowflakes invisible. They looked fake somehow. Meiji at the peak of a mortal realm had tried to cultivate and understand dark energy numerous times. Sometimes, she risked her life, which had almost pushed her into bedevilment and death. Torment and difficulties were what she had experienced while comprehending dark energy. As the Phantom clan had decided against her will that she must marry Batum, her desire for dark energy reached a frantic level. Thus, while in Dragon Lizard Star, When she found that Shi Yin had fused with the absolute beginning creature soul, she had tried everything to chase after him. After so many adversities, she couldn't get it. After having a romantic time with Shi Yin, it appeared all of a sudden in her sea of consciousness. Meiji was baffled. She thought that she was dreaming or hallucinating. Why is that? Meiji mumbled unconsciously. The ice power Upanishad was still moving. The ice crystal released the extremely cold air. You lewd woman. Seeing her in a daze, Hussein thought that his chance had come. He roared like a beast and stormed toward her. Boom! A ferocious, giant ape stormed out of Hussein's head. It was more than 100 meters tall. Although it wasn't really solid, its roar shook the sky as if it could break it shortly. It was another secret technique of the ancient monster clan. They could rebuild the image of their ancestor in their bloodline to perform a supernatural power. The giant ape howled. The seawater exploded by the sound waves. At this moment, Hussein's skeleton grew and stretched behind the giant ape. He had transfigured into a smaller ape which was pounding its chest brutally. Thud. Meiji's body shook when the furious waves attacked her. Magical waves rippled from her breasts. Her perplexed eyes were clear now. She beamed beautifully. Ice blast. Boom, boom, boom. The ice behind her exploded. Thousands of icicle jutted out and shelled the giant ape. The giant ape roared furiously. Its arms were like massive pillars pounding on Meiji's head. Meiji giggled. The ice crystal in her palm slowly flew out and turned into a cold light dot, falling onto the giant ape's chest. Crack, crack, crack. A strange sound echoed from the inside of the giant ape. Shortly after, the ape froze as if it had a glacier running in its body. The giant ape and Hussein screeched painfully. Hussein was bleeding terribly. He limped backward. Every step he made, a stream of blood gushed out of his body. He was aghast. Impossible. Even at your peak condition, you never had such intimidating powers. Meiji smiled charmingly and nodded to him. Right. Even when I was at my peak condition, I have never had such pure energy. Poor you. You're really unhappy. You always encounter me after I just leveled up. Death serves you well. Boom. Boom. The giant ape exploded. Pieces of ice twirled and congregated, turning into a small ice crystal. The cold light in Meiji's eyes flashed. The ice crystal turned into a jet of light, disappearing strangely as if it had its own consciousness. Hussein was shaken. His face paled as he looked at his chest. A bleeding hole appeared in his chest where blood was gushing. He felt his internal organs freeze. The chilling energy had invaded his soul altar. His consciousness became hazy and blurry. He fell helplessly and crushed many rock columns. The expression on his face ceased. Meiji walked barefooted. A crystal blue light cage covered her body. She moved gracefully towards Hussein. I agree with that asshole to kill anyone in our way. You've insulted me before. Of course, you have to disappear. We don't want to leave any possible danger. She looked at the shattered body of the Sea Clan young women, sighing and mumbling to herself. I took revenge for you too. Swoosh. A cold light shot out from Hussein's mouth. The ice crystal returned to her hand and melted. At this moment, a black hole flew out from Shi Yan's light cage and covered the corpses of the ancient monster clan warriors. The black hole was taking in countless wisps of energy. Shi Yan stood still. He was still naked, his eyes closed. He didn't seem to worry about Meiji. Shortly after, the essence chi and the soul energy from the dead warriors of the ancient monster clan were absorbed. Those bodies desiccated and grayed. Then, Meiji urged her power to dig up many deep holes in this rock forest to bury the corpses of Hussein's team and the bodies of the Sea Clan women. Concealing all the streaks of the battle, Meiji smiled and turned into a mirror-like rock column. She happily checked the glow on her face. She was delighted when she saw the minor changes on her face after having intimate activities. She couldn't help but hum some folk song of the Phantom Clan. She looked like a young maiden falling in love for the first time. After a while, Shi Yin finally opened his eyes and covered his body with a black robe. He stood up and said, "We should go?" Meiji's graceful body flashed and she wormed into his light cage, sticking to his arm. She was definitely a girl in love. Do you know that I got dark energy in my sea of consciousness? She was so happy that she couldn't arrange her thoughts well, her cheeks blushing. The naive expression of a maiden and the mature features that only mature women could have had combined perfectly on her, making her more mesmerizing and strikingly attractive. Having dark energy meant she had a real chance to reach the territory ancestor realm. It was what she had in her mind and in her dreams. How could she not be thrilled? You should say thanks to Gonfu and Batum, said Shiyin, looking pensive. Gonfu and Batum understood dark energy's powers. He had swallowed Gonfu's and Batum's soul altars, which had stagnated his refining. The main reason why he had almost became frenzied was because of the dark energy from Gonfu and Batum. Refining their dark energy to become something he could use was a tough move. It was the reason why he couldn't refine the other energy quickly. They had accumulated and jammed his devouring power Upanishad. When he had sunk into pleasure with Meiji, the negative energies released and filled the sealed rock column. While Dark was using the power of water to sense, his brimming negative energies had found a channel to drain. They hit Dark's soul altar and made him crazy. He had regained his sound mind after he released the negative energy. At the moment, Shiyin and Meiji reached the climax in the vague fantasy feeling. Part of the enormous refined energy had transferred to Meiji. When Meiji's god power reached a new height, her body had refined and her life form had advanced. At the same time, a part of dark energy from Gonfu and Batum had reached Meiji's sea of consciousness. Shiyin didn't know why or how. The dark energy in my sea of consciousness came from Gonfu and Batum? Meiji felt funny. Yeah, I can tell that Gonfu's and Batum's death had helped you. Shiyin nodded and then continued. Of course, most of their dark energy has come to my sea of consciousness. You got 20% of their energy. But I don't know how to help you cultivate dark energy further because I don't understand it. Anyway, perhaps it's because I haven't reached the territory ancestor realm yet. There's something I need to learn. When I have a breakthrough to territory ancestor realm, I can finally comprehend the power of dark energy. I got a lot of benefits. How about you? Meiji smiled. Shiyin squinted and sensed for a few seconds. He smiled at her. I just need to understand the realm further and I can get into second sky of immortal realm. My body, strength, and soul altar are at the edge of a breakthrough. As soon as I understand the power Upanishads further, I can reach the second sky of immortal realm immediately. Meiji's eyes brightened. Anyway, there was something that Shiyin didn't tell her. During this course, the essence chi and soul energy from the dead had become mysterious energy after being refined. The amount of this energy had gone beyond his upper limit. Although he had sent a part of it to Meiji, it was still brimming and surging. Also, a massive part of it had swarmed into the absolute beginning original symbol inside his life ball. At this moment, the absolute beginning original symbol was like a massive life with magnificent and abundant life energy that nothing could compare to. It was his new source of life where he hid a life. He could feel that even if someone shattered his body and exploded his skeleton, as long as he used the ultimate power called the surging vitality, he could gather the life inside that absolute beginning original symbol to recover his body. He then could have an undying body that was as strong as a dragon. It helped his fighting a lot. When he thought about it, he could resume his perfect body with just a mere thought when he was wounded and dying. His body ended up having full energy and surging vitality. How amazing could it be? That Hussein something seemed infatuated with you for a long time. Wasn't he? Asked Shiyin all of a sudden. Guys who court death deserve death. But you didn't show a bit of mercy. Will you treat me that way later? If you dare to abandon me, I'll kill you too. Huh. Meiji gritted her teeth, but then burst out laughing. I'm unlucky, though. I lost to your hands. I can't escape you. If you want to ditch me one day, even if I want to kill you, I won't be able to. As long as you're obedient, Shiyin grinned and placed one finger on her fragrant, red lips. I like obedient women. If you can do that, nothing will happen to you. I will behave and obey. Meiji smiled until her eyes squinted. She skillfully sucked his finger. her tongue curling around it. Chapter 1446. Massacre the Entire Island. Chapter 1446. Massacre the Entire Island. _ Phantom Clan's island base. The wall of the secret chamber had so many crystals set that shined on the purple crystal in the middle. The magnificent crystal radiated beautiful beams of light. Yulian and the two beautiful ladies of the Phantom Clan were busy moving around the secret chamber. They didn't even have time to rest. Yulian Jiejia, do you think Madame Meiji is going with that Shiyin? Asked a naive-looking young lady while she moved a crystal on her 10 skillful fingers, her fingertips shooting electricity. Xiaoming, what do you think? Smiled Yulian. I think it's impossible. Xiaoming shook her head. Madame Meiji is the most excellent woman of our clan. Hussein and Batum are infatuated with her. She even has the third sky of Immortal Realm. She's potentially going to break through into Territory Ancestor Realm. Shiyin, that guy has just the first sky of Immortal Realm, right? Why would Madame Meiji want to run around with him? Because he may get the Power Upanishad symbol tower, Yulian smiled. Of course, it's just what people are guessing. No one knows the actual situation. What we have to do now is to send the breaking news to Madame Meiji from the 5 clans. She needs to stay updated. The other lady who hadn't said anything from the beginning suddenly said, Meiji isn't answering anything. I think she can't at the moment. Yulian frowned and looked at the massive purple crystal floating in front of them. This spirit information amethyst sends her information. As long as she's within the sea of annihilation, she can receive it. Anyway, passively receiving information won't disclose her location. Once she answers, the spirit information amethyst can detect her location. Why is she so afraid? We won't sell Madame Meiji, said Meiji. Of course we won't. I'm just afraid that someone could use this to find her, sighed Yulian. Recently, the members of the 5 clans had sent their messengers to the island to pressure them and ask them to hand the spirit information amethyst. They wanted to use the crystal to lure Meiji and detect her location. Yulian felt the pressure swell after every day. Yesterday, she had sent the message to the headquarters. After the experts of the clan found out about this, they had decided to send someone. However, the Phantom Clan was pretty far away from the Sea of Annihilation. Even if their hotshots moved nonstop, it would take a long time to get to the Sea of Annihilation. For the time being, it was going to be hard to ensure that the experts of the other 5 clans would wait for them patiently. As Meiji had left, this island didn't have a true expert to guard. If the enemy barged in, they were going to have to endure passively. The 3 ladies were talking to each other in the secret chamber. They were collecting intelligence from those small crystals, sorting them, and then sending them to the massive purple crystal. Each member of the Phantom Clan could get the information from that crystal. A small crystal suddenly glowed. Xiaoming raised one hand to grab a beam of green light. She closed her eyes to sense for a while. Then, her small face changed. Hussein and his troopers were murdered. It's breaking news from the ancient monster clan. Their soul ropes in the clan were broken. Their souls vanished. Listening to her, Yulian was frightened. The ancient monster clan will become indignant. They will attack us here. Boom. The small island was shaken hard. The barriers on the island were torn. Residents on the island all heard someone shouting. Thunder rumbled as if it wanted to turn the sky upside down. The entire world was shrouded in thunder and lightning. The 3 young ladies in the secret chambers discolored in fear. Feral. It's Feral who has a close friendship with the ancient monster clan. Yulian cried. Feral is one of the 3 great territory ancestors of the Sea of Annihilation. He often stays on the seabed to cultivate. He rarely comes to the surface. He came here this time because of Hussein. The ancient monster clan must have asked him. He came here for the spirit information amethyst. Then what should we do? Xiaoming was about to cry. Even if Madame Meiji is here, she's not his match, let alone us. Yulian frowned and thought. Then, her face turned resolute when she said, We can only do what we can. Her 10 fingers moved fast and sent a message to the spirit information amethyst. Madame Meiji, Feral is attacking the island. He may use the spirit information amethyst to lure you. From now on, don't trust any news you get from here. After sending the message to the crystal, Yulian said, Guys, cut off the connection of all the information crystals here. Shut down the central spirit information amethyst. Xiaoming and the other young girl reacted quickly. They fumbled as they rushed their tasks. In this secret chamber, countless sparkling crystals on the wall lost their light like extinguished lanterns. At the same time, an eccentric-looking, middle-aged man with long hair draped around his shoulder was floating in the sky and punching the island. So many lightning balls fell unceasingly like meteors. They bombarded the barriers and restrictions on the island base of the Meiji into powder. Those lightning balls flew like eyes observing the entire islands. They found the phantom warriors and killed them all, crushing them into pieces. The old man looked calm as he landed like the god of thunder on the flowery island. Lightning shot out of his eyes and demolished the palaces on the island. His body flashed and reappeared in the secret chamber underneath. He frowned. The 3 thunderballs flashed and flew away. They captured the 3 girls. Shortly after, their souls perished. At this moment, all the warriors on the Phantom Clan's island were slaughtered. No one could escape. The man's eyes sparkled strangely as he gazed at the crystals inside the rooms. He spotted a message flashing inside the crystal floating amid the room. He used his soul consciousness to sense. He changed his face slightly as he knew that he was one step late. He knew that Yulian had sent the message beforehand. Snorting, the thunderballs twirled around him. The big and small crystals in this secret chamber exploded at the same time. He turned into a jet of light and soared up into the sky. The small island underneath cracked and sounded like doomsday. Shortly after, the entire island got fragmented and slowly sank into the sea. The base of the Phantom Clan slowly disappeared. Seabed. Meiji's body was shaken. Her beautiful eyes flared with a strange light. She took out a fist-sized crystal, which was also a purple one. At this moment, the purple crystal had so many light dots that began to extinguish. After each light dot disappeared, Meiji's face got paler. She was shivering. Shi Yin frowned as he noticed Meiji's changed visage. He was a little perplexed. Yulian, Xiaoming, they're all dead. All were murdered. The light dots in this crystal represent their lives. When they disappear, it means that their souls perished. Tears lingered in Meiji's eyes. She bit her lips and felt so helpless and powerless. Shi Yin was bewildered. He recalled the young girl called Yulian. Yulian had talked to him not a long time ago. She had even pried on the relationship between him and Meiji. He couldn't believe that after just a link, the entire island decorated with flowers everywhere now had corpses laid in every corner. No one was left alive. To the other people of the Phantom Clan, Shi Yin had good impressions. During this time, those girls had continuously sent Meiji intelligence of the 5 clans. With their timely updates, Shi Yin and Meiji could assess the situation and avoid the traps that the enemies had set up. Today, those girls were killed. Shi Yin and Meiji had lost their eyes. They couldn't receive the information of the other 5 clans' commotions. They wouldn't know what experts and preparations that the others had prepared for them. Who did that? Grunted Shi Yin. Feral. Meiji hissed. Yulian knew that they couldn't escape. She sent me the message at the critical moment. She told me that I had to be careful and to not trust the news that I will receive later. She knew that she would be killed. It's the last message she told me. Feral? Who is he? Asked Shi Yin skeptically. One of the 3 territory ancestors in the Sea of Annihilation. The Emperor Sea Shark, Feral, and Ricardo are all experts at the territory ancestor realm. Most of the time, they stay and cultivate on the seabed. They will only go to the sea surface to collect or exchange when they need some special material. Feral cultivates lightning and electric power Upanishad. He's close to the ancient monster clan. They rumored that he was the offspring of a human woman and an ancestor of the ancient monster clan. Because of the bloodline, even he isn't a pureblood, he has a close relationship with the ancient monster clan. Hussein and Yerberg, the ones we killed, often brought him various gifts on special occasions of the ancient monster clan. They consider him their senior, but he rarely cares about the clan's business. This time, he slaughtered our island because of Yerberg and Hussein's deaths. Pausing for a while, Meiji's eyes were so sad. We have indirectly put Yu Lian, Xiaoming, and the others to death. Shi Yin sighed and comforted her. With your current realm and cultivation base, as long as you put more efforts in your cultivation, you will have a chance to take revenge soon. I know. Meiji wiped the tears in her eyes and gritted her teeth. I swear, I will take revenge for her. I will kill Feral and use that life to worship Yu Lian and the others. They died for us. I have the same responsibility. I will remember Feral's name, said Shi Yin in a low-pitched voice. From now on, we can't count on my clan's intelligence anymore. Meiji tried to subside the agony in her heart and sort her thoughts. Feral has taken action. It means that the real experts of the Sea of Annihilation are going to aim at us. It'll be very rough for the coming time. We shouldn't let anyone corner us. Or else, when a territory ancestor comes, our efforts will have been for nothing. Yeah, for safety reasons, we should disguise ourselves too, Shi Yin said coldly and calmly. Yeah, from now on, we can't make any mistake. We have to mask every small detail that can reveal us. Chapter 1447, Disguise and Sneak. Chapter 1447, Disguise and Sneak. Underscore a corner in the seabed. Tu Shiqi, Ye Yun, and Dragon Lizard were moving around aimlessly. This area belonged to Emperor Sea Shark. They came here because they heard that many crews of the Sea Clan had disappeared mysteriously lately. The three of them began to doubt if it was related to Shi Yin somehow. Thus, they rushed here from another area to search around. Some bell jingled in Ye Yun's sleeves. She focused on sensing for a while, her face stern. Breaking news. Hussein of the ancient monster clan was killed. None of his troops survived. Tu Shiqi and Dragon Lizard changed their countenances. Hussein was another important person who was killed recently. He was the manager of the ancient monster clan in the Sea of Annihilation. His position was similar to Meiji and Ling Mei. Also, he was murdered on the seabed. With his power and his background, not many people dared to kill him. Tu Shiqi doubted that Shi Yan's team had done that. They eventually confirmed that Shi Yin didn't have Meiji go with him. Ganfu of the Devouring Clan was at the peak of a mortal realm, and she had dark energy. She was killed too. It was enough to prove that Shi Yin had some other experts accompanying him. With only Shi Yin and Meiji, they couldn't match Ganfu. Moreover, Ling Mei, Yerberg, Telika, and Farlo were all dead. It had proven that one of the murderers were going to enter the territory ancestor realm soon. Thus, when they heard that Hussein was dead, they weren't very surprised. They suspected Shi Yin immediately. If the others knew Hussein's identity, they wouldn't have dared to kill him. I know Hussein also came to this area. The ancient monster clan should know where they died. Through a secret technique, they knew it when their bestial souls lost connection, said Tu Shiqi. Actually, they provided some details. They said it's in a rock forest, said Ye Yun. A rock forest? Dragon Lizard's eyes brightened. I had senses with my soul consciousness and I found a blocked area. It should be the rock forest. Let's go. The three of them accelerated and moved as if they were flying. They reached the rock forest quickly. Their bodies must have been buried. Let me dig them up. Dragon Lizard's human clone was hovering above the rock forest. He sent many spiral wisps of god power to the rock forest and dug up the area. Boom! One wisp of his god power hit something rigid. His eyes brightened. He immediately landed and released more god power to dig up a large area. Shortly after, Hussein's body and his subordinates, including the Sea Clan ladies, were found. Dragon Lizard focused and observed the withered corpses. He said certainly, it has been around 3 days. They're close by, probably. Hussein was cut off by the cold energy. This cold energy likely came from Meiji. Tu Shiqi and Ye Yun looked excited. It seems like they haven't been gone for a long time. Dragon Lizard pondered for a while and then said, What will you do when you meet them? Will you kill them? Honestly, I owed that kid a favor, and you had invited him to join the mysterious Sky Clan. Have you made up your mind yet? Tu Shiqi and his wife quieted down. After a while, Tu Shiqi said with a forced smile, Ling Mei was the granddaughter of forefather Han Tian. If Shiyan's team killed her, it will be very hard for us to decide. Of course, if Shiyan agrees to join us with the Power Upanishad symbol tower, I think maybe Forefather Han Tian will tolerate him. Yeah, Shiyan's attitude is the key. If he agrees to join the mysterious Sky Clan, we can avoid the dispute, said Yiyun. Otherwise, we will have to take action. We don't have another option. Or else, when Forefather Han Tian knows this, we won't be able to explain it to him well. Agree with me and give him a chance to choose, said Dragon Lizard. Okay, Tu Shirchi nodded. Dragon Lizard exhaled in relief. He thought that he had repaid the kid's father. That's all he could do for him. They've left for only 3 days. They should be close by. Release the news. More people coming will force them out. Right, agreed Tu Shirchi. I am Adams, and you are Masha. We're from the Heavenly Eye Clan. I'm your senior. Shiyan was explaining to Meiji inside an emerald light cage. At this moment, their appearances had changed greatly. Shiyan had rearranged his skeleton and muscles to turn himself into Adam's appearance from what he could memorize. Then, he directed Meiji to change her beautiful face into Masha's. Adams and Masha were the members of the Heavenly Eye Clan with certified identities. If they had their appearances, they could solve a lot of problems. Well, this senior and junior relationship doesn't sound normal, does it? Meiji thinned her lips and glanced at the arm placed around her waist. Shiyan wasn't embarrassed as he smiled deliberately. You shouldn't be like that. Your eyes are still so attractive. You need to dim the light in your eyes a little more. Moreover, the closed eye in your forehead should be a little more protruding. It's the unique mark of the Heavenly Eye Clan. Is it okay now? Meiji was surprised. Her thoughts changed and her bright eyes became darker. She didn't look very attractive. Yeah, not very different, Shiyan nodded. Noticing the dark gleam in her eyes, he was baffled for a while before he could mutter, "Don't think about you, Lien and the others." Sigh. Meiji sighed weakly. I can't let it go that quickly. Although I'm happy to go with you. I get so sad when I think about how they are all dead. You told me to dim my eyes. I suddenly remembered them. Shiyan contemplated for a few seconds and then told her, Don't worry. I promise that I will help you kill Feral. I think you have been seeing many warriors go to this sea area lately. We killed Hussein. I'm sure they will guess that we're nearby. Meiji sounded heavy. Yeah, that's why we need to disguise ourselves. As long as we can conceal our auras, even when we face the ones seeking us, they won't know. Shiyan looked forward. Many warriors are doing something on our way ahead. We can't avoid them. We must act more carefully. Meiji nodded. I understand. I will try to get rid of my sorrow. I won't let it show on my face and affect our journey. The two of them used Adam's and Masha's disguise to move further. They slowed down and hid the sharp auras on their bodies. Half a day later. There's a troop in front of us. Pay attention. We can't fight people here because there are more troops around. Once the battle takes place, they will swarm us, said Shiyan all of a sudden. Meiji gently nodded. A group of 6 warriors rested inside the reefs on the seabed. The 6 of them were sitting on a rock and closing their eyes to adjust their breathing. Apparently, they were terrestrial warriors. They had to use the light cage to protect their bodies from the water pressure. It was the difference between warriors from the sea surface and warriors from the seabed. The members of the Sea Clan dwelled undersea. They didn't need to use an energy light cage to protect their bodies. They were born with the gift of being immune to the horrible water pressure here. The 6 of them included 5 males and 1 female. They were from the human clan, the clan with the largest population in this vast sea of stars. Only the female expert in this group had second sky of a mortal realm. The other 5 males were at first sky of a mortal realm. The 5 males looked to be middle-aged as they had many wrinkles. They were recovering with calm faces. The second sky of a mortal realm woman looked to be in her 40s. She had an average appearance, which wasn't as beautiful as Audrey in her disguise. However, the woman had elegant bearings that had made her more attractive. As the 2 groups were far from each other, the 5 men couldn't sense anything. However, the woman arched her brows, waking up and coughing slightly. The 5 middle-aged men shuddered and woke up. They bewilderedly looked at the woman. Xiang Rong, what happened? asked a bony old man. The woman called Xiangrong stood up inside the green light cage and frowned. Someone is coming? The 5 men jolted up immediately. They instinctively put her in the center of their protection. Although their realms were lower than hers, they had to protect this woman. Apparently, she had a high position. No need to be tense. Their auras aren't so strong. They can't threaten us. Xiangrong sensed and then sighed. We shouldn't come here. I heard that Hussein was killed too. At our realms, we can't do anything. Haha, we're not here for the Power Upanishad symbol tower. We just hope to find some traces to exchange for the rewards from the 5 clans, smiled the bony old man. The rewards from the 5 clans are really precious. We're here to try our luck. I heard that the seabed has many treasures and magical materials. If we encounter something, it will be worth the efforts we spent to get here. Old Gu is right, nodded Xiangrong. I couldn't see that point before. While they were talking, Shi Yin and Meiji inside the light cage drifted toward them and looked at the 6 people of the human clan. Shi Yan's eyes sparkled strangely. He focused on their clothes but didn't seem to talk to them. He kept a distance from them and just wanted to pass. He didn't want to raise any trouble. While they were watching Xiangrong's team also observed them. After they found that the others weren't the wanted ones, they felt both disappointed and lucky. We're from the Potion and Tool League. We came to the seabed to collect blacksmithing materials. Also, who are you? Xiaorong suddenly greeted them smilingly. Adams from the Heavenly Eye clan. This is Masha, my junior sister. We came to the seabed to travel around, introduced Shi Yin. He looked at the clothes on Xiangrong's body and found many strange symbols on the hems. He was a little surprised indeed. While in Agate Star area, he happened to have the cannon of the Potion and Tool Pavilion, which he had handed to Fu Wei later. When he got it, he had checked and found similar symbols in the cannon. They weren't the absolute beginning characters, as they were special symbols used in refining pellets and forging treasures. The symbols on Xiangrong's clothes were the same as the ones he had seen in the cannon. It surprised Shi Yin discreetly. Potion and Tool Pavilion and Potion and Tool League. Was there a relationship between them? Shi Yin was puzzled. Chapter 1448, Capture. Chapter 1448, Capture _ Shi Yin knew a little bit about the Potion and Tool Pavilion's history. Rumors said that a man had traveled through a space passage in the Shadow Ghostly Prison to come to Agate Star area. That man had established Potion and Tool Pavilion. He had set up the rules and principles that had made Potion and Tool Pavilion the strongest commercial organization in Agate Star area. Apparently, that man wasn't from Agate Star area. Many years had passed, and the first pavilion master of Potion and Tool Pavilion was dead. Shi Yin had accidentally taken the cannon he had left. Today, when he saw the symbols on Xiangrong's clothes that were similar to what he had seen in the cannon, and the others had introduced that they were from Potion and Tool League, Shi Yin was moved. Of course, with the current dangerous situation, he wasn't interested in investigating the relationship between the two forces. He nodded to Xiangrong, and the old men then continued his journey with Meiji. Potion and Tool League? Have you ever heard about this force? Asked Shi Yin suspiciously after they had gone past the others. As Meiji was the leader in charge of the Phantom Clan in the Sea of Annihilation, she knew many things in the area. If the Potion and Tool League was famous, Meiji should know about them. Of course I have. They are a relatively strong force of the Human Clan. The Human Clan is the clan with the largest population in the vast sea of stars. The total number of their members is several times bigger than the entire 7 clans. Anyway, human warriors aren't good at cultivating. They are far behind the 7 clans. Thus, the 7 clans have ruled many territories of the Human Clan. Our Phantom Clan also has some human territories, explained Meiji. Anyway, not all of them are weak. A small part of them is really powerful that even the 7 clans don't dare to ignore them. As there are so many of them, they have formed different forces. Potion and Tool League is a relatively strong force. They were formed by the human alchemists and blacksmiths to refine medicines and tools. They trade with us too. Generally speaking, they're just a normal force. They aren't stronger than the Water Tribe. They can hardly rebel against any clan among the 7 clans. Yin nodded. Did you see the special symbols on the woman's clothes? Are they some special ranks for the blacksmiths and alchemists? They are the special symbols worn by human blacksmiths and alchemists. They are nothing strange. Those special symbols represent their ranks and the material tool ranks too. Why did you notice them? Meiji sounded surprised. I found them special, said Yin. There are many forces gathering. We must be more cautious. We shouldn't talk much to the others, reminded Meiji. Right? Heavenly Eye Clan? I didn't expect that warriors from a weak race would come to the seabed. They don't treasure their lives. After Yin and Meiji had left, Old Gu ridiculed. As I know, the Heavenly Eye Clan is just a third-class clan. They live in a remote territory where there are constant wars. Of course, they don't have good lives. Not many warriors can cultivate to high realms. The Immortal Realm warriors are the best ones in the Heavenly Eye Clan. But if they come here, the others can kill them easily. Everybody has his own way to survive. Xiangring smiled. Our cultivate bases aren't enough to protect us here. Still, we came to see if we're lucky, didn't we? That's true, said Old Gu. Boom. A small explosion came from a strange pendant on Xiangrong's chest. She was baffled for a while before she took out a silver chain and observed the broken pendant. The pendant was broken and it revealed a bizarre jade flake that was as big as a fingernail. It was glowing. Why is that? Xiangrong was surprised. What's that? Old Gu sounded suspicious. It's a piece of the Power Upanishad symbol tower. A precursor in our league had it a long time ago. We kept it in the vault all the time. I took it out when we departed to the seabed. I use a pendant to keep it. I was thinking that if this piece of Power Upanishad symbol tower can change somehow when it came close to a complete Power Upanishad symbol tower. Xiangrong frowned. This piece was placed in the vault of the Potion and Tool League for so many years. It hadn't reacted or glowed even once. In fact, I decided to bring it this time for fun. I didn't think it could do anything. Old Gu was shaken, his eyes bright. Then why is it glowing now? Is it true that a Power Upanishad symbol tower is near? It seems that it has begun to send the energy after that Heavenly Eye Clan couple appeared. I didn't notice it at that time, but now, come to think of it, is it related to them? Xiangrong's eyes brightened. Their appearances and race aren't what the 5 clans want to find. Are you sure it's them? Asked another middle-aged man. It's easy to change appearances. It's not important. Old Gu became excitedly. We're not sure now. We should follow them to check when we come close to them. If this piece is still glowing, we can be sure that the couple is the reason. Haha, we're going to be rich. Right. The others nodded. They were all stirred up. Be careful. Once we confirm that they're the wanted ones, we will leave immediately. Do not create any conflict. Xiangrong frowned. If it's true, Meiji of the Phantom Clan is at the peak of Immortal Realm. She can kill us all single-handedly. We have to leave before they spot us. Xiangrong is right, appraised Old Gu. All of a sudden, a group of 6 started following Yin and Meiji. Because Yin and Meiji were using atoms and Masha's identities of the Heavenly Eye Clan, they had to slow down. Thus, the others could easily catch up with them. They are following us. Yin knitted his brows. Meiji was perplexed. Those warriors of the Potion and Tool League couldn't recognize us. Their realms aren't high enough, and their Power Upanishads aren't something special. They must have some other purpose. Yin thought the same. Let's see what they're planning to do. He stopped and waited with Meiji inside the light cage. They turned around to look. 15 minutes later, Xiangrong and the others emerged. Xiangrong clutched the piece of the Power Upanishad symbol tower in her hand, her heart beating fast. As they got closer and closer to Yin, she could feel the energy rippling stronger. It was them. She screamed inwardly. Through the marvelous connection with the Power Upanishad symbol tower, she was sure that the Heavenly Eye Clan couple in front of her were the ones that the 5 clans wanted. She tried to subside her excitement and maintain an indifferent and calm face. She halted and kept a safe distance with Yin and Meiji as she smiled. We have some items from the Potion and Tool League that can support your Power Upanishads. I wonder if you're interested. Yin frowned and said impatiently, Not interested. Oh, so I shouldn't bother you guys more. Xiang Rong wished that he would say so. Seeing him deny, she signaled old Gu and the others. They left immediately, even faster than when they came. After they made some distance from Shi Yin, old Gu asked, "It is them, right?" "Yes, they are." Xiang Rong hissed excitedly. Thrill appeared on her face and even in her movement. The broken piece reacted powerfully. It had almost flown out of my hand. It seemed to want to enter that Heavenly Eye clan man. Excellent. Old Gu rubbed his beard. We're lucky this time. When this is certified, we'll get the rewards from the 5 clans. Dash. No, it's not quite right. Shi Yan's eyelid twitched. The Power Upanishad symbol tower emerged and landed on his palm. Swish. A strange jet of light shot from behind him and entered the Power Upanishad symbol tower. It was a small broken piece. After it touched the Power Upanishad symbol tower, it turned into powder and became some magical, pure energy. Shi Yin and Meiji exchanged looks and their faces changed. Retrieving the Power Upanishad symbol tower, Shi Yin snorted, then turned around with Meiji. They started dashing. Xiang Rong's strong hand, holding the piece of the Power Upanishad symbol tower, was bleeding. She was horror-struck when the broken piece flew out of her hand. She screamed, "They know it." The other 5 men were scared out of their wits as they spoke hastily. "Move! Move! Immediately!" Boom! An ice mountain stood in their way that released a ruthless, cold aura, which made them shiver. Shi Yin emerged like a demon and shouted, "Don't kill them with force. It will draw attention. When more people come, we won't be able to run." While talking, he threw out a fantasy boundary stone that he got from Yi Yun. After the fantasy boundary stone got the space energy, it turned into a world in just a blink of an eye. While Xiang Rong's team was petrified, that world had covered them and captured them. Shortly, Xiang Rong's group of 6 disappeared and left no trace. "Someone is coming. We must go now." Shi Yin rose his hand, and the world that the fantasy boundary stone had created flew into his sleeve. He and Meiji didn't dare to linger. They left immediately and disappeared. Not long after they had left, some small troops came. They observed carefully, their face perplexed. They got intelligence that Shi Yin and Meiji could move around here. Thus, they had paid attention. Whenever they smelled something wrong, they hurried to check. After moving 1 round around this area, some of them confirmed a warrior with ice power Upanishad had taken action here. But there's no sign of a furious battle. Strange. Did something happen while the warrior was cultivating that made the warrior release ice energy? Then, where's that warrior? Who knows? They discussed, and they couldn't conclude the real situation. From this area as the center, they began to search around aimlessly. So close. Meiji's face still looked frightened. "I didn't expect that so many warriors were around us." Sigh. If we had received information from Yulian, we wouldn't have been so passive. When they reached a relatively safe area, Meiji exhaled in relief and asked, "What should we do with them?" "After we confirm that everything is fine, we'll kill them," said Shi Yin coldly. "You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.